With me is my good personal friend, who is frozen for some reason.
I'm not frozen. I'm not really frozen. I crack my own self up. I crack my own self up into pieces, little law pieces on the floor. Look at that. Hey, Dave, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
So wait, that's broken the law, huh? Broken the law.
That's why I broke myself.
That's right. That's right. So yes, and introduce yourself to everybody in case they are not familiar with you, even though they should be, right?
Damn right they should be. I am TRISTEN Law. I am professional wrestler and professional podcaster. That's right. I got this new podcast, Dave, coming out, and it's called The TRISTEN Law Show. It's named after me. You know, I thought it was pretty maniacal and egotistical to name a show after myself. However, you know, Phil Donahue had a show. Oprah had a show. So, you know, with all those people having a show, why can't I have a show named after myself? I am the brand.
Right. It would make less sense if you named it after someone else. Like if this was the George Washington podcast, people would be really curious to know why is it called that.
Well, here's the thing I thought.
Someone should do that. Someone should pick a weird random name and call it the podcast, even though it has nothing to do with that individual person.
That'd be bait and switch.
It would be. I'm not saying I want to do it or you should do it. I'm just saying someone should do it. All right, so thank you for joining me today. Tonight we're going to be doing the Wednesday Night Wars, checking out the NXT and the AEW. But let's get into the chat real quick. Hey there, Andy Ruiz, how you doing? New HD, how you doing? Timothy Mendoza and Reckless Ramos. Who's your favorite wrestler? I have a video on that, so just watch that video. And Samurai Productions, what is
Shawn Michaels.
Boo, not funny. So, anyway, what are you looking forward to this week on the Wednesday night shows, plural?
Oh, you're asking me?
Oh, yeah, what are you looking for? And hey, AJ Envoy.
I'm looking forward to wrestling and being entertained from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. or 10:05 in case somebody runs over.
AEW did play that card pretty well, I will admit. They did strike that. They did strike that first, which you knew sooner or later someone was going to.
That's right.
So, what show? Let the people know. What show are you going to start off with? What is your TV currently set to?
All right. So my TV box. It's not really a television. It's more of a computer screen because of how I watch TV. But that's too difficult for everybody to understand. But it's going to be set to TNT first, so I can watch AEW.
Oh, all right. I'm actually on USA right now first, so I guess this is fitting. We'll be able to switch out. Hey, Peroso King. Hey, Andy Ruiz. I like that AJ Envoy calls it the Wednesday night pillow fight. I think that works.
Actually, I think that would have worked a lot more back in the Attitude Era when they were doing ladies' underwear matches. Right.
Hey there, Ron Hawthorne.
So, look at that. I'm watching Jack Reacher. Yes, that's actually the lead-in to AEW Dynamite. What's actually the lead-in right now with only 3 minutes right now? What's the lead-in that USA Network is using?
Some, cop drama show with Mark Harmon in it. I never remember which one he's on, but yeah.
Oh, NCIS. That's what the TV got, NCIS. He's,
sanding down a boat or something.
So I know that you like talking ratings, Dave, so we're going to talk about ratings real quick before the show starts.
Please, let's do that.
The reason why AEW keeps capturing that younger demo is because they have a strong lead-in from TNT. The demographic is already captured right now with Jack Reacher. Who's watching NCIS? They know 18-year-olds watching NCIS.
Well, there are barely any 18-year-olds watching wrestling as it is, it seems, but I don't know. You think it's all the lead-in? Well, you think it's all the lead-in?
Yes, it is. I strongly believe it's all the lead-in because they're showing Marvel movies or, and this is TNT. They're showing Marvel movies. They're showing the Batman movies. They're showing movies that people within our age group would be interested in. I'm talking about the 20 to 25 age group.
I was going to say, you're being very generous putting yourself in that age group, buddy.
What do you mean? I'm only 23 years old.
Plus 23 plus what?
Okay, fine. Plus one. 24. How old are you, Dave?
Plus 1 decade. Anyway, I don't know how many people are still watching TV from the lead-in anymore. Like, I don't know if people are actually tuning in to I'm not saying they're not, but saying, hey, let me watch, Jack Reacher. Oh, I might as well just keep watching since wrestling's on afterwards. I don't know how many people are really doing that, especially in a day and age when you got the Netflix and everything without commercials and out censorship. Why would you?
But, like, there's nothing else on right now. I'm looking around at the TV guy right now.
I get you.
And if you go to TBS, you're going to watch American Dad, or you can go to TLC and watch My 600-Pound Life.
Or, well, here's my other question. Not only about the lead-in, but if that was the case, then how come ratings typically, not so much right now, but typically spike when, like, Jericho comes on? It's not that it's that people are waiting for this to happen. It's not like they're just leaving the TV on and just going into it. They're wanting specific stuff. But let's go back to the chat real quick. Chicago World Order is in the house. That they are. Andy Ruiz says we need more charismatic wrestlers. As a worker yourself, by the way, Tristan Law is a fantastic worker. Maybe not as fantastic as he thinks he is, but maybe not. What do you think? Do you think we need more charismatic wrestlers? Do you think that's the issue?
I think that we need more people in the ring that are going to be storytellers. It's not about the leg slaps or the dives or anything crazy like that. It's about the story. So this past weekend, I watched Slammiversary, and the best match on Slammiversary. Well, let me phrase that. One of the best matches all weekend between Slammiversary and Extreme Rules War Show was Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo. Purrazzo. I was saying her name wrong. There was only two things that mattered in that match, Dave. You know what the two things are? The arm and the championship. There's only those two things that mattered in that match.
Okay.
And because of that, they told a good story throughout the show. My opinion.
I get you. Now, personally, I think the bigger issue we are looking at is I don't think it's charismatic, because we have tons of charismatic wrestlers, and we've had for a while. It's just WWE tends to overlook them. Oh wait, just the show is coming on, and just as I'm watching NXT, and I'm seeing William Regal. Remember, he's got a big announcement tonight. I wonder what he is. And since I am not listening, let me know what it is, guys. Anyone watching NXT? Oh, hey,
maybe he's going to be talking. He was going to be talking about how much money he saved on like his insurance.
I think it will. It seems to have something to do with the North American and NXT Championship both being held by Keith Lee. So I'm kind of curious to know where they're going to go with that. Hey, yo, Harry Flynn.
All right, so we're starting AEW Dynamite off with fireworks and the voice of Tony Schiavone and people clapping.
Huh. Bet he's not used to that. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
And hey, Overt, how you doing? I was watching a couple of Tiger... Okay, Parasu King says, I was watching a couple of Tiger Mask vs. Dynamite Kid matches, awesome, between 1981 and 83, and it's like watching two time travelers. But not in a party way, kind of, right?
Dave, can you tell me when a pro wrestling match actually starts on NXT, and I will tell you when a pro wrestling match actually starts on AEW.
Good question. Well, I'm wondering now.
Because right now I'm locked on AEW right now.
Right. Well, now you got me thinking, because typically, who's going to have the match first? Who's going to start with a match first? Again, they're doing this big announcement thing, but I also kind of feel that AEW will start first, but NXT's match will be longer.
You're right. Well, right now we just got a shocking entrance on AEW. Mm-hmm. Eddie Kingston is standing on the ramp.
Oh.
Right now, Cody Rhodes is getting ready to start his little open challenge match.
Wait a minute.
And it looks like Eddie Kingston is going to have to take on Cody Rhodes.
Really? That's interesting.
Yes.
But he's definitely not signed. He's definitely not signed to AEW, right?
He's not. But Cody Rhodes said it's open to anyone.
True. I've been actually saying this for a while. I've been saying during this time period where not everybody can run shows, I would say it would have been a great sign of good faith by either WWE or AEW or whoever to get as many wrestlers from other companies, especially if their shows can't run right now, and put them on TV. Like, why not? Reach out to the NWA, say, hey, we'll put Nick Aldis on, especially since they had that relationship with during All In. Why not?
But you know why it would never happen in the WWE?
Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. But remember, they did it with ECW once upon a time.
Right, but that was once upon a time, and I'm sure that at the time, other wrestling organizations existed because the NWA Tag Team Champions, I think it was the Midnight Express or whoever Express, it was the Rock and Roll Express, one of those expresses when they were managed by Jim Cornette or James E. Cornette, they were on the WWF at the time. But At this point, the only professional wrestling that exists in the WWE universe, which is called the WWE universe, is WWE.
I'm just saying, the NWA has been on WWF TV before. ECW has been on WWE TV before. New Japan was. And you're right, that was a long time ago. But I'm just saying, you never know. Evolve was on WWF TV not that long ago. Granted, they now own Evolve, but still, nevertheless.
Where did you see that they own Evolve?
They announced that they bought it.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Where did you hear that? Meltzer?
No, WWE announced it themselves.
Oh, I didn't hear that. And it looks all right. So it's 4 minutes in, and we've got a match on the AEW. What about NXT?
We got an entrance. Dexter Loomis just made it down to the ring. It's not. The match hasn't begun yet. Have you had an opening bell yet?
Yes, opening bell just started.
Okay, not yet.
Eddie Kingston just ripped the shirt off of Cody Rhodes, and they're turning around chopping the dog poop out of each other.
And Katie Morton, yes, Tristan Law is a professional wrestler. Keith Lee relinquished the North American Championship. That's the big announcement. What are they going to do? Tournament to decide who gets it?
Wow. That was so stupid. And why give them both belts to make them relinquish it?
Ultimate Warrior rules. Ultimate Warrior, Bob Backlund, Bruno Sammartino. 2 belts means you're going to give up 1. That's what the rules are. Thank you, Ron.
But they booked themselves into a corner now that they couldn't figure out a way to take the belt off of him. You know what? Have him defend the championship twice in one night and have him lose one and not the other.
It's the old school WWE mentality. I don't know why they do it, and yeah, I know from a logistic point of view it doesn't make any sense, but hey, they've done it before. And back in the day, in the early days, like around the 60s and everything like that, and even to the 70s, it was a convenient way to get rid of a championship you didn't like, instead of vacating it and deactivating and all that. If someone was your world champion and you wanted to get rid of this other subsequent, like, smaller title, you would just let your world champion win it, and then when the other belt just dissolved, no one asked any questions.
Well, that's stupid. It's stupid. All the way stupid. It's like stupid.com. That's a website, probably. Stupid.com. Hey, talking about websites, Dave, I got a brand new website.
Yes, please. Share with the Know It All Nation.
Oh, well, Know It All Nation. What's going on, everybody? The name of the website is TristanLawShow.com. Let me spell it for you. TristanLawShow.com.
I was going to spell it, but I'm like, you know what? Just that's all. Oh, and by the way, match has started.
Wow, so 6 minutes in, and we got a match.
Yeah, what they're going to have is qualifying matches to build towards a ladder match for the next takeover, and the winner will get the North American Championship. Sorry,
I fell asleep. Can you say that again? Because that's boring. That's stupid. Like, I'm not trying to be negative right now because Dave, you know from personal conversation that I'm a WWE guy, but I think it's stupid. They should have put Keith Lee in the match. That'd be a great way for Keith Lee to lose the championship in the ladder match. Because you know what? You can still keep him strong because nobody's actually pinning his shoulders. But you have him give up the championship. If you ask me, he's still the champion. He just letting somebody else hold the belt.
Wow, you're really against this, huh, buddy?
Yes, it's dumb. I don't like it. I don't understand it.
Like I said, what about when the Ultimate Warrior did it?
I don't care about the Ultimate Warrior. I care about Keith Lee.
Oh.
I just want to bask. Oh, you know what? You know what the problem probably is?
Yeah.
The issue is that Bayley got 2 belts. Sasha Banks got 2 belts, and now Keith Lee got 2 belts. So maybe they had an issue with that, with everybody having belts. So maybe they didn't want to give everybody 2 belts.
Technically, Sasha does not have 2 belts, but
hey, whoa! My girl Sasha got 2 belts. She did it fair and square. The referee counted the shoulders at the end of the match. You cannot convince me that Sasha Banks is not two belt Banks. Banks
Bayley
two belts.
was not the sanctioned official for that bout.
How do you know that Bayley didn't go to referee school?
She might have, but she wasn't the officially sanctioned referee. Now was she for that particular match?
She had a referee shirt on, right?
Yeah.
If you go to the doctor's office, right?
That she stole, yeah.
If you go to the doctor's office, right, do you ask the doctor for his PhD, or do you automatically believe that he's a doctor?
It's normally hanging on the wall, and all I gotta say now, putting on a lab coat does not make you a doctor. Putting on a red blazer doesn't make you a valet.
Right. But my whole thing, though, is that you don't know if Bayley was the referee. I feel like they're bamboozling Sasha Banks right now, and Sasha Banks needs to do what she had. Sasha Banks is a lawyer. She needs who's the lawyer? She needs David Otunga.
Oh, I get it. You know, this also should be symptomatic of a bigger problem, is that your girl Sasha, with the tag team championships and now the Bayley as the referee, I think it's very clear that Sasha just can't win gold without Bayley anymore. So.
No, you see, that's the problem that somebody like you would say. They're a tandem. They came together. I bet you if it was Alexa Bliss, there'd be no problem with it, right?
Oh, as I said, as long as she's on TV, I'm happy. By the way, I had an amazing dream with Alexa Bliss the other night, which I don't have dreams very often that I remember, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out.
Was the one where she actually saved you from a burning building?
I definitely can't talk about what happened on air. Anyway,
okay.
Jerome wants to point out that possession is 9/10 of the law. Well, hey, let's not forget that, unfortunately, Stephanie McMahon made our TVs again. But either way, she declared that we need to have a real championship match between these two. So, nevertheless, the Steph has spoken.
But who the heck is Stephanie McMahon? Who she ever beat? What gives her the authority to come out there and say who and who is not the champion? Why don't she come down there and try to fight for the belt herself, huh?
Her DNA said so, unfortunately. Believe me, I wish that wasn't true either, but count it if it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, Harry Flynn brings up a good point too. What about Paige? Paige vacated the NXT Women's Championship when she won the Divas title from AJ Lee. How about that, huh? This has always been NXT's role, so you're trying to hold NXT to the same standards as the main roster, but they got different rules. Harry Flynn said that.
Hi, Harry. So Tristan Law here. You can listen to my podcast August 5th. Anyway, you find a podcast, go to TristanLawShow.com. So anyway, take your hand, and I want you to bring down your pinky. This is your pinky. All right, bring down your pinky. Bring down your ring finger. Bring down your middle finger. Bring down your index finger, and bring down your knuckle. Your thumb finger, and just punch yourself in the face real quick. Because that's a dumb idea. I don't like that idea at all. Don't be trying to compare two things that don't make sense to me. 1 + 1 is 1 in this occasion, all right? Yes, that does not make sense. Sasha Banks is the champion. She got helped by Bayley, yes. You see, you know what makes Bayley a good friend? Because that match needed a referee.
Oh, so she was just looking out for rules and justice, huh? Okay.
Hello, like Dave, you were in a match and the referee got knocked out, or the referee got incapacitated. I'd be there to help you, to count to 3 to help you win.
Well, I appreciate that, buddy, and if I could return the favor, I would. By the way, I switched over to this Cody and Eddie Kingston match.
So this is the things I like to talk about. What made you switch? What was going on in NXT when you switched?
They went on commercial. They did the picture-in-picture, but I did switch over just because. Well, yeah, as a Chikara fan, I do like Eddie, and on top of that, first Grand Slam champion, first singles champion ever in Chikara. So I did want to switch over and see how this went. Well, I could have. And by the way, it's Dexter Lumis match. I really like Dexter Lumis a lot. I think he has great character work, but there's less at stake. There's more on the line for this. And even though I know Cody's winning, I'm still more curious in this match.
What does Tristan Law and Dexter Lumis have in common?
Long walks on the beach.
I don't know if he likes long walks on the beach, but he used to have a beach gimmick back in the day where he was like a surfer.
See?
Yeah. But no.
Educated comment. What do you guys have in common?
We both went to Team 3D Academy in Kissimmee, Florida.
Oh, no kidding. Did you know each other like there?
Yeah, we went he was in the advanced class and I was in the beginner class. But when I moved over to the advanced class, to work out and get extra ring time. He was there.
No
Him,
kidding.
Jesse Neal,
Actually,
a couple guys that have wrestled on AEW. We actually went to Team 3D together.
Cool.
Yeah, a gal that was there. We went to Team 3D together. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. So Eddie just got the thumbtacks. This isn't going to go well. This isn't going to go well for somebody.
Why are thumbtacks not going to go well? You see,
because they hurt.
Everybody assumes in pro wrestling that when somebody grabs a bag of thumbtacks that they're going to throw it on the ground and throw somebody on it. What if Eddie Kingston wants to hang pictures on the wall? Let's see what he does with them. He's opening the bag.
The floor,
okay, so
he's pretty far away.
Right. Oh, he pours them on the floor. Okay. Maybe he's trying to find the perfect thumbtack by pouring it on the floor.
Oh!
There you go. He's trying to find the most perfect thumbtack.
Oh, nope, that's not what happened for sure. Unless Cody's this picture. By the way, I want to point out, there's that age-old adage that if you get the tax, you go on the tax. That's really not true, right? Like, I find that that's a generalization, but I don't really think it's so.
Well, you see, the good way to do that would be to set it up and then you come back later on to it.
Yeah, that's definitely. Oh man, that's rough. I can't believe they actually got this on air. Yeah, I'm staying here. Yeah, if they wanted Dexter Loomis. Look, I like you a lot, buddy, but I gotta keep saying. I'm sorry, I gotta keep watching this.
Oh man, sorry, I didn't mean to scream.
Yeah, I think you're a little bit behind me on the show.
Oh yeah, am I?
Yeah, because I've been seeing that.
Oh, hold on. Boom. Oh yeah, he got powerbombed on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Okay, so how do you feel about things like that? Thumbtacks. Should thumbtacks be a finish to a match, or is it okay if it's just something that happens?
Golly, some guy with thumbtacks in his back.
It's just incredible.
I don't think that thumbtacks they could be a finish to a match. But it's like you're just getting pricked with little like things. They don't really incapacitate you. You know, it's not like it's really like going to like an organ or anything. It's only breaking the skin. If anything, I see the adrenaline from the pain right now pumping through Cody Rhodes' body, and he's using that adrenaline to win the match, and he sits down to the thumbtacks.
Good story. Well, see, and that's something else I do wonder about. Like, when you have the thumbtacks involved and then later on in the match, you keep doing moves and they're still there. Obviously, you're getting a couple more in you. Like, does that only... Do you think that takes away from the initial bump that they're going to continue to roll around it afterwards and no-sell it later, or do you think it's perfectly fine?
I think that thumbtacks hurt. And they don't hurt that much, but you know what? This is coming from a guy that does not do gimmick matches like that. The most I've done is a cage match, and I've done street fights, but I'm not a fan of thumbtacks. So, like, I always had a rule of thumb, Dave. I'm not going to recommend something that I don't want to take on myself.
Fair enough.
So I'm not going to say, hey, brother, we should get thumbtacks tonight. No, I'm not going to do that. So if somebody wants thumbtacks, I'd be using it on them, but I wouldn't be using it on me. Nah, don't sign me up for that.
I've taken a stapler, I will say that much. It doesn't... Don't do it, by the way. Everybody watching at home, don't do it. But I will say, it doesn't hurt as much as you think, but it feels more uncomfortable knowing that this middle thing is here, and you know it's not supposed to be. That, I think, is the weirder part. You're like, oh, this doesn't belong here.
So was it working staples or shooting staples?
Shooting staples.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so Dale says that he loves no DQ matches. Do All Elite have an agreement with the NWA? I don't believe they do, but perhaps they're working something. As I said, this is something I've been wanting them to do for a while. They have the rapport. NWA is now running shows. Some people even believe this false rumor that NWA is shutting down.
No, it's not true.
And it is not true. You gotta get that out there. Katie Martin, I have done work with Tristan plenty of times. Tristan Law has put me on his show prior to this, and he's been on this show before, so this is not new. But yes, I do appreciate the advertisement there, Katie.
What did she say?
She said that you should have me on your show.
Just on the Tristan Law show?
Yeah, just so you guys know, Tristan is not looking at the chat right now. He's just watching wrestling. So if you're saying things, just let me know and I'll tell him.
You know what, Dave? I would love to have you on the Tristan Law Show.
I would love to be on the Tristan Law Show.
You know what's funny? I created a list of earlier today, and on that list is a bunch of people I want to be on the show, and you're on it. You're on it. So the show is pretty much me introducing people to personalities in and outside of the wrestling ring, and your a personality almost inside the wrestling ring, but you do a lot of wrestling journalists. So I think it'd be cool for everybody to learn how Dave Knows started, and your comic love, and you want to tell everybody why Batman is your favorite superhero. That's okay as well too.
I appreciate that. He's not, but I appreciate that. And
it's my show. It's on my show. Batman's your favorite superhero. That's mine.
Gotcha. I flipped back to NXT, by the way, and I would really like to know who's giving this interview right now. Yeah.
You see, that's my issue with NXT and WWE.
What?
We just watched the match. I just picked my nose on YouTube. We just watched that match. Why are we watching? Why do we have to watch the replay? Just give me the interview.
I am all about this interviewer right now. I don't know who she is, but I would like to know. Anybody?
I think it might be Shriver or something like that. I don't know why.
Words. I always call this dude the new one-man gang. Does anyone else see that?
I can see him being the new one-man gang.
Yeah, but yes. Yeah, you say words now because I can't pay attention.
See, now they're all trying to fight for this championship from Keith Lee. Like, why is Keith Lee just letting these people hand up his championship? You know what? What they talking about? They talking about Naomi needs better. Keith Lee needs better.
Now, do you think? And now I've brought this up on my episode about double champions. Do you think now, yes, we know one is a mid-card title, we know one is the main title, but do you think when you have a double champion and you make them forfeit a championship, does that make that one that he gives up look worse? Does it water down the value of that belt to you?
No, because he never got beat for the belt. He gave the belt up, or she would have given the belt up, so it doesn't hurt them. I mean,
no, but not the champion, but the championship. Does it make the championship itself look bad?
No. As long as it's not just taken off of A and given to B, as long as it's still as long as it's taken off of A and it's contested by B, C, D, E, and F, just like they're doing in WWE, I don't think it hurts the credibility of the championship.
Gotcha.
But what I do think, though, is that Keith Lee deserves better.
Gotcha. So as long as it's won properly, it doesn't hurt the championship. Unlike how Sasha Banks just took hers.
Look, let's not bring Sasha Banks into this. I think what Keith Lee needs is to join the Robert Stone brand. Because if he was with the Robert Stone brand, this wouldn't have happened. They're taking the championship from him.
Sure. One of my okay, I'm looking at a commercial right now. I'm going back to
I'm on AEW.
Yeah, I'm going back to AEW. And Inigo Montoya. I never said what kind of dream I had. You're inferring, okay, Inigo. I didn't say anything like that. Maybe it was just a dream where we were baking cookies together.
Oh, that's cool. Sugar cookies or chocolate chip cookies?
Chocolate chip cookies, for sure.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice little dream that you had there.
Yeah. Is Velveteen still in the main title picture? He's not in the same main title picture, and rumor has it he's not going to be in the AEW picture at all, unfortunately.
Velveteen?
That's rumor. That's what they're saying. Rumor and innuendo, as you say. Hey, MJF's coming in. What's up?
You say he's not going to be in the AEW title picture either.
Oh, I'm sorry, NXT. I apologize. You got me.
Fair enough.
The interviewer, I think, is Mackenzie Mitchell from Impact. Okay, Mackenzie Mitchell. Thank you for telling me that. I'm just going to type on my phone, unrelated. Just happen to need to check my phone. Tristan, say words.
Mackenzie Miller from Impact. So it looks like Impact did a little tradey trade. They took a lot of wrestlers from WWE and they gave away one announcer. I think that the NXT got the short end of the stick there. But I think that Slammiversary was a good pay-per-view. I think it was kind of a letdown. What did you think about Slam? Did you watch Slammiversary?
Huh? What? No, I did not watch Slammiversary.
Maybe the know-it-alls want you to watch Slammiversary. Maybe they want to watch with you.
They did, but as I said, is it free 99 or does it cost money? Because in today's day and age, I'm not throwing away money on pay-per-view. And besides, look, Slammiversary I know was going to be a big show because of all the debuts and everything like that, but that's something I can hear about. One thing that I was not super psyched, and the marketing for Slammiversary was brilliant. It was great. I'm not knocking that.
Yes.
But the one thing I did not know, or one thing that I wasn't pitched, and for guys like me, you really want, and that's the technical wrestling side. Where was the big wrestling match? And I'm not saying there wasn't there, but there was not one of those sold to me for the pay-per-view. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying there wasn't there, but was it sold to you like that? Was it? I'm not saying they didn't have any. I'm saying, did they sell you on it? Were you sold at all going into it? Did they advertise it? Did they promo it? No. They sold you on the surprise. They sold you on this idea that they were going to have surprises, and that's fine. But I need look, it's 20. It would take more than that.
It's 2020. It's 2020, Dave. Know-it-alls. It's 2020 as well. So you know that we do not get technical wrestling anymore. All we get is dives and leg slaps. That's what wrestling is these days. So when you come to professional wrestling school, you're going to pay like $4,000 or $5,000 and learn how to slap your leg and jump out the ring on other people. You're also going to learn how to catch other people as well too.
I'm saying, as you have said previously, it's all about the variety, something for everybody. I get invested in a wrestling show. Like WrestleMania is a good example. For whatever you can say about the overall quality of WrestleMania, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, any of that stuff, in the end, I think it's very important to note that there is something a little bit for everybody. They try to have a match on the card for everyone. They're going to have your big main event title match. You're going to have your big goofy ladder match. You're going to have your technical wrestling matches. They make sure that all bases are covered, is what I'm saying.
Okay. I guess you're right. I guess you're right. Why can't Slammiversary had just been different? Why couldn't you just paid $39.99?
It was different, but you're not going to get me to part with my money doing that, though. Is all I'm going to say.
You know what? For the next big 8 pay-per-view that's non-WWE, I would like for one of the know-it-alls to donate to you so that you can watch it.
Well, and see, that's the other thing. We did bring it up. Like, we brought this up for the last AEW pay-per-view. And I said I'm willing, but no one did it because in the end, remember, these fan bases for Impact, AEW, as much as we enjoy them, they're definitely not as big as WWE, and it's noticeable. So, while it's a nice idea, there's not that many people that invested in it. And plus, that also means they'd have to pay for it too, and that means they have to watch their pay-per-view twice.
Right, but even if that's the case, though, the point is that if you're a wrestling fan, you should actually just try it out. I'm not talking about you, Dave. Just try it out. Maybe for me, the weeks leading up to Slammiversary, I watched about 3 weeks of Impact and went, I'm sold on this. So I implore all the know-it-alls and other wrestling fans that may stumble upon this video when it's no longer live. I implore you to go onto Fight TV, the app. It's free. And you can find free professional wrestling on there. Just go to wrestling and find free wrestling. You might actually find something that you really like. That's not WWE. That's not AEW. It's not NXT. It's not Impact. There's a lot of free things on there that you can watch.
Like, you can watch Catalyst Wrestling.
You can watch Catalyst Wrestling. See, Dave, I was waiting for you to drop that in, but it took you long enough to drop that in.
Build the suspense. Yeah, so I just flipped real quick to NXT, and then I saw Tyler Breeze, and I'm like, nope, back to MJF.
I'm watching it right now. MJF got the feature, so I switched off that.
And MJF has my attention because, again, he used to wrestle for Capital, back when it was Capital Wrestling, so, I'm a big fan of MJF. And, look, you can say what you want, but for me, I'm just more invested in what AEW is doing. First match, as I mentioned, one was a championship match. Even though I know how it's going to end, I'd rather see Eddie Kingston going against Cody. Then over here, MJF. I know MJF's going to win, but I want to see his abilities because, as I pointed out, he is a good heel. He tells a good story. He knows what he's doing, and I'm always curious to see his good work, especially at his age. It's amazing how young he is.
He's like what, 12?
Well, if you're 23, then yes, in that world, yeah, he might as well be.
Yeah,
In this magical
that makes sense.
fictional world of 2007, yeah, it may
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I'm 20. I'm 24 in wrestler years.
Oh yeah, actually, I don't think wrestler years don't take away years; they add to years. So I would
No,
think
no,
so.
like we age backwards. Like, look at me, look at me. You see, look,
You're,
24 years old.
you're the first person to ever tell me that wrestlers age better, that age backwards.
Hey, but you know what it is, right?
Hmm.
Because I'm handsome. That's why I don't age like everyone else. I age backwards. So like another 25 in like another 25 years, I look like 1 years old.
I don't think that's true.
And at 20 and in another 26 years, imagine what I look like. I can't say it.
You're using some Scott Steiner math here, but okay. Andy Ruiz says that MJF needs to build more muscle. What's your take on that, there, Tristan?
Okay, so here's what I would like to ask. What is his name? Andy?
Yes.
I would like to know what's the purpose of him feeling that MJF needs to build more muscle. What's the purpose? I don't get the thought process of why MJF needs to get more muscle.
Yeah. But remember, Andy is the anti-smart. He's not a smart. He's a smart fan.
Oh, he's a smart fan. Yeah, where did he pay money to go to professional wrestling school to become a smart fan? Because all the smart fans are actually in the ring.
Right. And again, Harry, let me remind you, Tristan can't see what you're talking about, so you got to tell me. But he wants me to tell you. He wants you to tell me that Nikki Bella is better than Sasha Banks. That's what Harry would like me to tell you, or you to tell me. Or wait, he wants me to tell you that. Hey, he wants me to tell you.
Yeah, I knew that.
Never mind.
So Harry, stop calling. I need to know what purpose it would be for MJF to gain extra muscle and stop drinking while you're watching professional wrestling on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, come on, anti-smart. Let's see what you got now. The actual workers telling you what's up. Let's see what you got now.
How are you saying that Nikki Bella is a better wrestler than Sasha Banks? Sasha Banks right now is the #1 wrestler, and we've talked about this before, Dave.
He didn't say better wrestler. He just said Nikki Bella is better than Sasha Banks. That's all he would like me to tell you.
Okay, better how? Better how? Better at what? Tying her shoelaces? Better at what? Knitting? Better at what? Better how? He's trying to round me up. You know what? I'm not going to let him come out of my shirts. Jesus, please protect me right now so I don't have to snap on Harry. Don't want to snap. I'm going to behave myself because I'm blessed and sanctified.
Well, what are we looking at on TNT? No thanks. I'm out. Going back to USA. Going back to the NXT.
Okay, so I guess I'm behind you because all I see is MJF winning.
Yeah? Oh, good. Leave it there. Yikes. Yeah. I'm sorry. Damien Estrada says that MJF is the bootleg version of Del Rio. I think he's better than Del Rio. I'm sorry. Dave, random question. Have you seen Charles and the Chocolate Factory? I did. Regrettably. My friend's girlfriend wanted us to go. I did not.
They're actually they're actually coming out with a bunch of the Roald Dahl movies on Netflix. It's going to be a whole entire series.
Oh, yay.
I'm actually excited to see Matilda. That's one of my favorite movies, Matilda. I remember reading that at the school. Especially when
you're admitting that in public, right?
It's all right. None of your people that are watching could beat me in a real fight, so it doesn't matter. So one of my favorite parts in Matilda is where Mrs. Trunchbull has the girl there, and she has pigtails in her hair, and goes, "What is that in your hair? Pigtails, Mrs. Trunchbull? Are you a pig?" "No, Mrs. Trunchbull." And then just flings her. Just grabs her by the pigtails and just flings her. That always cracks me up.
This was asked to the little actress who played Matilda. She was asked who wins in a fight, Matilda or Eleven from Stranger Things.
So who you think would win?
Well, do you know what she said? The actress said
She said that the referee would get knocked out and Bayley would come in and help her win.
The actress says that Matilda wins because 11 is still learning to use her powers, where Matilda can control an entire room of spoons and forks and all that stuff like that without even blinking an eye. Meanwhile, 11 tries everything and she gets a bloody nose. So she said Matilda's got more experience and more control. So that was her answer.
But what if Matilda picks up all the forks and knives and 11 has Matilda fork herself with the forks that she picked up?
Oh, easy. This all right. Matilda's like a children's book, and you're making this like this violent mess.
It could be a violent. Imagine if Celebrity Deathmatch was still around.
If it gets to the point where they're putting Matilda versus 11, I would say it's got to be a slow day in the office if that was still around.
Matilda over.
Of course, Samurai. Putterasso King would like to know if you have ever bladed.
No.
Okay, so what's going on the other channel? Because I'm like wall-to-wall commercials and I'm bored.
I'm looking at AEW and Brian Cage is coming out right now.
Oh, Starks is here. Oh yeah, I forgot that he actually is signed to AEW. I keep thinking he's still an NWA guy.
Nope.
Yes, King One Kid. Yes, Keith Lee did give up the title. Tristan is very much lamenting about this.
No, he did not give up the title. He was bamboozled and he was tricked into giving up the title. They said to him probably, William Regal probably said to Keith Lee, hey, you know what, if you give up this championship, I'll give you a parking spot. But you see, if Keith Lee had Robert Stone on his side, Robert Stone would negotiate that parking lot still either way because he's a double champ. Because of him being a double champ, he should have already gotten his own locker room because he beat everybody in both divisions. That means that Keith Lee is the best man in NXT. You know what? I think that Keith Lee was going to go ahead and win that Cruiserweight Championship. And they're going to call him Keith Lee Every Belt.
What? Is only his leg allowed to wrestle in that match?
What are you trying to say about Keith Lee?
Trying to say he ain't no Cruiserweight is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, he's not a Cruiserweight? Let me tell you, because the car does not have cruise control, Dave, does not mean it's not a car.
I'm just saying.
So what are you saying?
205 Live, I would check their scales if he qualified.
So you're trying to say that Keith Lee cannot be 204 and 9/10 of a pound?
Not only, no.
Wow.
Just
you were a professional.
Look, hey, he's a talented man. It's not taken away from him. It's just how physics works.
I think that Keith Lee could have been the tag champions by himself.
Ray DeRosa,
you know what?
that Samoa Joe was a cruiserweight champion, X Division champion. Yes, that is true. That was when they officially abandoned the weight class.
Whoa. You see, why does everything have to be about weight? You see, that's the reason why people are having body issues, Dave, because we're taking a certain class of people and putting them in a certain weight group. I don't think that's right.
That is what wrestling does. It wasn't my idea to do that. It was the Cruiserweight division's idea to do that.
Now, all of a sudden, it's not your idea because you were the one that said that Keith Lee cannot be in a Cruiserweight because you feel that he's a bigger man, that he weighs more than 205 pounds. I think that Keith Lee, based on the way that he looks, okay, because that was my job one time where I was a professional weight guesser. I worked at Universal Orlando, and I was the amazing Alonzo, and I was able to guess your age, weight, and birth month. Those are the three things I was able to guess. I think that Keith Lee is 204 and 9/10 of a pound. I'm telling you.
Okay. Out of curiosity, okay, fine. Let's play this game. How much do you think you weigh?
How much do I think I weigh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I like how you make this about me. So if you really want to know, I weigh 185 and 4/10 of a pound. Yes.
Okie doke.
Yes.
All right then. So Inigo Montoya says, Dave, go back to NXT. Tyler Breeze is off the television. Well, right. Okay, well, I got Moxley coming up. I will take your recommendation. I'll go back. Let's see what we got here. All right. Who's that? Shotzi? Who's Shotzi going against? Can't see.
Okay, I just cut it off AEW.
Yeah, what do you want?
But I got I'm watching NXT. You know, I was walking around Walmart the other day and I saw the Shotzi Blackheart car.
No kidding.
And I was like, man, I wonder how she like moves that around. Like, you think she has to go through customs with that? Oh yeah, I'm just checking my my car.
Yeah.
My toy car.
Well, your boy Robert Stone is here, so I don't know if you want to watch.
See, there you go. That's my boy right there, Mr. Robert Stone. If you need anything know-it-alls, you call Robert Stone and become a part of the Robert Stone brand. Because right now, you know the problem with Robert. You know the problem with the Robert Stone brand, Dave?
What's that?
The issue with the Robert Stone brand is that he's out there looking for people, and people are not looking for him. Maybe because they don't know how to look for him.
Yeah, normally you used to be able to find him just by looking for the Zack Ryder ripoff, and then you went from there.
Actually, no, he came first. Robert Stone was first when he was Robbie E. I remember when Robbie E. was on the Indies. He's a Jersey guy.
Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. I actually know a guy who trained with him and thought the world of him. So I'm just kidding. I'm just messing around.
Good.
Yeah. No, I actually know somebody who was really close to him. So they were, they started at the same time and everything like that. So I'm just messing around. I actually a lot of good things about him. Like as a person,
well, you see, Dave,
I've heard nothing bad about him ever.
Why is this all a joke to you, Robert Stone brand? That's the problem, that everybody thinks the Robert Stone brand is a joke.
Yeah, usually it has to do with results.
Right, but you know what? Some of the most successful people in the world were not successful at first.
Yes, but they have to be successful at some point in time.
Right, maybe Robert Stone hasn't gotten there yet, obviously. But you see people like you who will invest in the stock now. You got people like me that's going to invest in the stock now, and by the time he blows up, I'm going to be rich. And guess what you're going to be doing, Dave?
Hanging out with the people who are already successful now?
You'll be hanging out with the know-it-alls. And I know you love the know-it-alls. Those are your people. You always say such nice things about the know-it-alls when we talk one-on-one. You say you love them because they know everything.
Yeah. Most of them. Most of them.
Oh, now, Dave, don't be fronting for the live stream.
No, they know the troublemakers, but so far I don't see anyone here. None of the troublemakers are here right now.
Ooh, it looks like she almost dropped Shotzi on her head.
Yeah. Overt. We'll see you when you get back. Tristan, what do you think about Vince Russo, says Andy Ruiz?
Vince Russo actually follows me on Twitter, and you too can follow me on Twitter at The Real Big Tris. When you're asking about Vince Russo, what is exactly you want to know? I think Vince Russo is cool. Vince Russo is also on my list to have on the Tristan Law Show that you can start listening to wherever you find podcasts August 5th, 2020. So go ahead and go to your favorite podcast platform and type in Tristan Law Show and hit subscribe.
Is it just me or does Shotzi kind of wrestle like a Mortal Kombat character with her weird kicks and everything like that? Like, I swear she'd be fun to play as in a video game.
Well, maybe you could play with her in the WWE 2K21 when it drops.
Yeah, if it doesn't glitch out.
You're right.
Damon Estrada would like to know, what are your thoughts on Vince wanting to bring back the 90s faction of the Attitude Era to SummerSlam? This was brought up to me yesterday. Tristan, what do you think?
I didn't hear about that. Give me the deets on that.
Rumor has it that Vince wants to bring back the Nation of Domination.
Oh, Vince McMahon?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't mind. I mean, I don't see why there's not a reason. I feel, especially with having Farouk. Especially with having Farouk on Monday Night Raw, he's kind of giving them the rub.
That was the thing. They're saying that's planting the seeds of it, and like maybe he'll be used as a manager. But the team allegedly is going to consist of Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, and Mustafa Ali. Allegedly, it's the rumor.
Oh, but why not MVP and why not the Hurt Club?
Well, they're different. They're probably gonna make them feud against each other.
I don't like that. That's too much black on black crime. That shouldn't be. The Nation Domination would never do that. Come on.
They feuded with Ahmed Johnson.
Ahmed Johnson was different. Ahmed Johnson was
and then they feuded with Farouk after they kicked him out.
Well, you know, when Farouk, you see, that's the problem. People don't know when they're supposed to leave. You see, they told Farouk, hey, look, you're not the boss anymore. The Rock is in charge. You see, Farouk should have been happy that The Rock was in charge because The Rock is such a nice man. You remember when The Rock gave everybody gifts but he gave Farouk the best gift of all.
Oh,
He gave him a photo of himself. You see, Farouk was smart.
that's gift.
Farouk would have had The Rock, Rocky Maivia at the time, autograph it.
Oh,
That's
so
what he
when
should have did, but he
became
did.
the big movie star, it would have been worth a lot of money. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Hello, but you know what it turned out to be?
What's that?
If you speak Spanish, basura. If you don't speak Spanish, garbage.
But then D'Lo and Mark Henry kicked The Rock out.
Okay, and look, you see, that's the worst mistake they ever made. Because look at The Rock now. Look at The Rock now. What does Mark Henry and D'Lo Brown do? They don't make movies.
Harry says
They're not sitting in tank tops on Instagram. Exactly.
No, but you know one thing that D'Lo did that The Rock didn't? D'Lo was a double champion where The Rock was not. And D'Lo didn't have to give up his second belt like Keith Lee did.
Oh, so which one of those belts was the WWF or WWE Championship? I'm just wondering.
Which one of the belts that Keith Lee was holding was being the key word here? Which one of those were the WWE Championship, huh?
Well, the closest to it was the NXT Championship.
I don't know.
He's holding the big belt.
I don't know. I think the Intercontinental title is a little closer to being that WWE Championship than the NXT title is.
But you know what, though? The NXT wasn't around at that time, so we can't. That's apples and oranges.
Just saying. Harry Flynn does bring up that Mark Henry was in movies. Okay. The Bucks are in a kitchen right
Mark
now.
Henry in?
The Bucks are in a kitchen right now. Where is this a match? I like it's cute. They're washing their hands to make sure. What? Oh no.
It's all about social distance. Keep your hands clean.
They're gonna wrestle. And I think it's more food safety since they were handling meat. Wow. I'm not watching this. I'm going back to NXT. Please tell me something less dumb was on there. It's a commercial.
I'm actually going to watch it. You see, how dare the Young Bucks come and interrupt the Blade and the Butcher while they're handling the meat?
Someone wanted to point out that D'Lo was in Aces and Eights.
Okay, so what's the point? I don't get the point with that.
I don't either, but they wanted me to tell you.
Okay.
Andy Ruiz, the anti-smark said, yeah, see, you are a smark, Andy Ruiz. I don't know what makes you think you're an anti-smark. By the way, he never really answered your question. He's just saying, I like it. He said, this is interesting and different. He didn't say he likes it. He said, this is interesting and different. See, what is the point of washing your hands if you couldn't throw meat at each other's face?
So you don't cross-contaminate with your outside hands of the meat. Because at the end, maybe somebody wants to eat the meat.
It's on the floor.
Thought you weren't watching it, Dave.
It's on the floor.
5-second rule.
It has definitely been more than 5 seconds, and that 5-second rule is not true either. Hey, Rollin Reflex.
Well, they have TV time remaining until they have to pick it up.
Dave, thoughts on Smart Busters? I don't know what that is. Per Russell King says, Dave, you think if they do use Evil to push Sonata as champion, would become like a second Tanahashi, or would the fans reject him like they did Reigns? I don't think the fans will reject him like Reigns. The fans are pretty on board with Sonata as is. Yes, Harry.
Okay.
Harry's continuing to tell you what other moves Mark Henry is. So, how does that make you feel?
Okay, give me the movies.
Apparently, he was in Haunted House, Flintstones, Incarnate, Born, Strong. I don't know if these are different movies. There's no punctuation, so I'm just reading. I have no idea. This is an anti-smart channel. I've never watched it. All right, well, the Bucks took it outside, and now they're putting... Now, look, this isn't my cup of tea, but I will say that I rather have this than the cinematic stuff.
Oh, look what I found. I found Mark Henry's IMDb. Oh, look at that. Look at that.
You should try to find mine.
You have an IMDb?
I do. There's only one thing on it, but yeah, I do.
Hey, what?
Which is odd, because there should be more things on. Which is weird, because I know Wrestling with Regret has IMDb credits, so I'm like, how come I'm not on there for that?
Okay, I found it. Okay, so Mark Henry was on Mac Gruber as Tut Beamer.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of that.
You said he wasn't in movies like The Rock, and clearly he was. So isn't your face red? Don't you feel ashamed of yourself for disparaging Mark Henry?
He has only one movie. Oh, look, he was the Pickle and Peanut. Wow, okay, wow. Incarnate. Wow, yeah, that's great.
Well,
Wow, great movie.
There's a young
Great
bug
blockbuster.
posting a picture of the young bug in the truck.
Wow. Oh, look at this. Look at this. A Haunted House 2? Oh, wow, look at that. Wow. Awesome. I wonder how much money those things ever made. All right, so let's go look at The Rock.
Paraso King wants to say that Mark Henry almost fought Michael Jordan during the Olympics. I do not like Michael Jordan's chances, like in that fight whatsoever.
So how much money did Mark Henry make doing all of that?
Hey, how should I know? But Ray Raza brings up an interesting point. How come the thumbtacks were legal in this AEW match? Why wasn't that a disqualification? Oh, and Katie Martin would like to know, what do you think about Kenny Omega?
I think Kenny. I think Kenny Omega is like, he's seen as a god in AEW right now to the fans. But I did not like the way that he was showcased last week on AEW. I think he bumped around a little bit too much for what's the kid name? Marco Stunt. He bumped around a little bit too much for Marco Stunt.
Well, you get no argument from me on that one.
So, like, for me as a wrestler, I'm like, yeah, he's cool, but I think that insults the fans' intelligence too much when you get something like that, Dave, because, like, picture anybody that's Marco Stunt's height and body weight, right? We're not going to we're not going to take into the effect that he's a grown man. Imagine a child with his build, right? A 12-year-old child. If you give a 12-year-old child a V-trigger, where should that 12-year-old child be? In the pediatric hospital. Right, you should be in the stands. But for me, what I would have done, because from what I was seeing with Marco Stunt should be a liability. He should be the one like, hey, well, we don't want you in the ring, and he's like headstrong. He gets in the ring, right? He takes that first V trigger, right, and he's out. However, you got the other guys in the ring. You got Luchasaurus, so maybe Luchasaurus gets the finish, maybe tags in Marco Stunt, who finally comes back and does a splash or a senton off the top rope and then go for the win. That's something I would have done with Marco Stunt to make Marco Stunt still look credible, and he would have gotten his payback.
I agree. Small little tidbit fact, though, no pun intended on that one, is while I do agree with you about Marco Stunt, I do think his size is a problem. Nothing against him as a person, nothing against his abilities and his talent, but nevertheless, it's just a realism of the situation. But I will say, do you know who has one of the highest win percentages of all time in WWE? El Torito. So, just going to throw that out there. And real quick,
you want to see Mark Henry.
But real quick, for the other part of it, I do want to say, well, I don't care for this particular style match, and it was kind of predictable and obvious. I did kind of pop a little bit for that super kick onto the escalator. I thought that was a cute touch. I'm not a fan of those kind of matches, but at least I thought that was, and sitting on the train then. So, but there you go.
I'm jumping back over to NXT. Yeah. And you got Johnny Gargano coming out right now.
Good call. I will switch over myself.
You see, you just left me a commercial. When you leave him with a commercial break, you give me the opportunity to wonder what's happening on the other channel.
I am not a fan of this heel Johnny Gargano. I don't know what they were thinking. Personally, I think it's a huge mistake. I don't think he's quite as good at getting heel reactions as Tommaso Ciampa was. Furthermore than that, I also think he's one of the best at generating sympathy in the company right now, so I think it's weird that you waste that gift on making him a bad guy.
So, do you have any reaction when Johnny Gargano comes out?
Not as a heel, no.
So what do you think that Johnny Gargano needs to do to get that reaction? You think he needs to kill puppies on TV?
Yeah, I mean, the thing, he's not the best on the microphone, and he's also too small. Again, going back to size, he's too small to be intimidating. It's not like I feel, if I see Johnny Gargano beating up on somebody smaller than him, that guy's gonna be really small. And last I checked, as we were just talking about, Marco Stunt's on the other channel. So I don't feel like Johnny Gargano is that mean of a guy, especially when we're watching him beat down Keith Lee. It's like, yeah, okay. Like, I'm going to take this seriously.
But I'm not going to call it apples and apples with Johnny Gargano and Marco Stunt in height.
No, Johnny's bigger than him. I'm just saying that. In this day and
age, though, you have to be careful because you'll sleep on a guy like Johnny Gargano in a real fight. Like, if I walk around like, yeah, I can beat up Johnny Gargano because he's small. Johnny Gargano will take my elbow,
True.
And he'll make it touch. He'll make it touch the back of my head.
No, but saying Keith Lee is in danger now because he's going against Johnny Gargano, I'm not going to take that seriously. Like,
I agree.
fine, he's going to lump me up, but I'm just saying I don't feel that Keith Lee is threatened, so I'm not going to boo him because I'm not worried about him. And Rod Reflex, yeah, Spike Dudley was small, but the reason why I like Spike Dudley in ECW was that he was utilized for his size. He was thrown from balcony from Rhino, and when Rhino did that, much bigger than him, when he threw him off the balcony, I hated Rhino, like, legit mark hatred for him, because I couldn't believe that you would do this to this guy. I'm like, yo, this guy's like 150 pounds, you can't do that to him, that's messed up.
But he did.
And they played into that, where nowadays a lot of wrestlers want to treat everybody like they're equal, like it's, and I like that in theory, but when you can't take a guy who weighs 170 pounds and say he's just as tough as anybody who's 300 pounds, it's like, no, that's not how physics work.
But I think the issue, though, Dave, is that everybody just wants to the wrestlers, and I think it happens a lot on the indies. Everybody just wants to get like their stuff in, so they don't, like, oh my god, I can do, like, for me, I can give a monkey flip. But you will never see me give a monkey flip. You know why? Because who am I monkey flipping?
Right.
A guy like Marco Stunt? No, Marco Stunt would be the guy that would work for the monkey flip against me.
Right.
Because he's using momentum to throw me. Why? If I'm monkey flipping Marco Stunt, I better be throwing Marco Stunt to the far side of the moon.
Yeah. Mark Henry said the same thing. Again, Mark Henry, like, he said that certain moves just look ridiculous if he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't know how to. He just thinks it looks silly if he doesn't.
Right. We're getting the three-way. Three-ways are difficult, but three-ways are... We're getting a three-way on NXT. They're fun, but they're difficult if they're done right.
I'm not a fan of them because they almost always devolve into one person taking a nap on the outside.
Right. That's how it should be. One person in, one person out. Because, like, when you have 4 people in the ring, it splits it for the fans, and the fans don't know where to look. So, like right now in this three-way match now, Gargano and what's his name are trying to figure out how to go inside. They're trying to figure out who's going to go inside, and they just make it a one-on-one match. When one bumps out, the other one bumps in. You got the 2 heels right now. Now, when they're trying to get the heat, they work the double team, and they can do the whole gimmick to where one is pinning and he snatches them off, and then they start to fight against each other.
Yes.
So there's different ways you can go with it.
True. Well, I'll put it this way. I think awkwardly, an odd number it makes things difficult. But the other logistical part that I have a problem with is, let's say 2 guys are doing a pin, the other guy's got to be incapacitated, or else obviously he's going to break it up. That's why I actually prefer the 3-way dance ECW rules, where if some guy's pinning another guy, cool, he's eliminating someone for you. Why are you going to break up the pin? Just stand there and watch him do it. I think it's too clunkily a problem when you have and it's just first winner. So I actually prefer the 3-way dance style myself.
So, or WWE would probably call it a 3-way elimination match.
Yeah.
Would it be called a fatal 4-way?
It's called the 3-way dance and ECW rules, and I say ECW rules. Ray DeRosa would like to know Kevin Owens or Keith Lee.
For me?
I don't know. He just kind of asked. I don't know who he's talking to.
All right, know-it-alls. So, like, when you're asking a question, like, you should ask, like...
Well, no, he's the anti-smart. It's the anti-smart asking this, so he knows best.
Oh, okay, so then what does he think then? Because it doesn't matter what I think.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah, anti-smart, yeah. You know so much. Good point. Yeah, you tell him. You tell him, Andy.
Right?
I mean, and you tell Andy. Yeah, Tristan, yeah.
If he knew so much, he'd probably go to your Patreon.
Okay, commercial, going back to TNT.
That's what I did as well, too.
The Bucks are still...
Wow, okay.
Oh, so this match ain't over yet.
Nope.
So, did they ever justify what happened with Allie, why the bunny's no longer with them?
We don't talk about that. They don't remind us, so we don't have to think about it ever again.
I was just wondering.
Don't wonder about it. It doesn't happen, so we don't see it again.
Gotcha. Marco Snutt is a nice kid, but he needs to be eating pinfalls like Tic Tacs. Yeah, Ron, and that's where I'm at.
Yep.
Because I'm not being, like, facetious when I say he looks like a 12-year-old. He legitimately looks like a 12-year-old. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying that's what he legitimately looks like. And that's not to say that you don't have a place in wrestling, because you absolutely do. But utilize them in different ways. Like, don't sell this on this idea that I'm supposed to think all things are fair and equal. A brilliant example is, for me, Bill Dundee. That's a dude who perpetually was told that his height was problematic, and that if he was just a little bit taller, he probably would have gotten much more out of his career than he did. So, I mean, and Bill Dundee is significantly more intimidating looking than Marco Stunt.
But I think that height is such an antiquated way. Again, it's an antiquated way to look at people in the professional wrestling business.
True.
I'm not saying that Marco Stunt will ever be the AEW champion. I don't ever see that happening. But I see Marco Stunt wrestling with the Jurassic Park Express, and he should always be a liability. He's the guy that takes the heat. He's the guy that gets beat up, and you're like, oh man, all you need him to do is tag. If he was just, oh my god, he makes a tag, and then the big guy comes in, maybe Luchasaurus comes in and starts bumping everybody, and then do-si-do, whatever, boom boom, Jurassic Park Express finish ride move, and then tags in Marco Stunt with the pterodactyl splash, and boom, it's done. Pterodactyl splash. Yeah.
So you're saying Luchasaurus lays the groundwork, and then at the end they tag in Marco Stunt to just let him just collect the pinfall, and that's it after the hard work has been done. But what about this? What if we start doing matches where Marco Stunt keeps losing for the team, and eventually this leads to Luchasaurus getting frustrated, turns heel on Marco Stunt?
But you see when he turns, okay, so I think that's a great idea.
Down the line.
Right, I think it's a great idea. So if you and I were sitting there, we're trying to book AEW Dynamite, and we're sitting at a table, and you'd be like, you know what, I think that story is the story that we're going to go with. But then my issue is that, okay, so where does that leave Marco Stunt? At the end of the whole thing, where does it leave Marco Stunt? Because obviously you're not going to see Marco Stunt beating Luchasaurus.
No.
So what happens? So what happens to Marco Stunt?
But by turning Luchasaurus, I'm glad you asked. By turning Luchasaurus heel and putting him away from the group, that still leaves Jungle Boy as a partner for Marco Stunt. So you can still maintain that relationship. Because you still got Jungle Boy. You still got Jungle Boy. So Jungle Boy, so that's how you give. Because I agree with you. There is nowhere for him to go after he can't beat Luchasaurus. But then after it's said and done, he's still friends with Jungle Boy. Oh, and it looks like the Bucks are about to do something crazy.
You know what would have been a good way for them to introduce Brody Lee or Mr. Brody Lee?
Yeah.
Utilizing that story, the story that we just told. So Luchasaurus, the story that the booking that we tried to come up with. Yeah. So Luchasaurus would turn his back on the group, and Jungle Boy would try to fight on his behalf, and he would get slaughtered. And obviously, Marco Stunt would get slaughtered. So, we're going to fight fire with fire. We're going to place one big man with another big man, and they go ahead and do their match. Luchasaurus and Brody Lee would help get each other over, and they would start a new group to help the group get over. Maybe they could even do the double turn. Maybe they can even do a turn in the end to where all three guys, including Marco Stunt, they now jump Brody Lee because Luchasaurus goes, you know what? I saw the fire in you. That's what I always wanted to see. And now they're a heel team.
All right. I typically have a harder time with smaller guys being healed. That never really jives 100% with me, personally. But that's not a bad story. The story-wise, I like that. But Bucks just did an amazing spot, for sure. Let's point that out. And got the win. So that was a nice aggressive match. Wow, I didn't love the beginning of this. I did think it got okay. I didn't love the beginning, but it got better. It was better than I expected, I'll put it that way. I know that it's not saying much. What are you thinking of this AEW match, anyway?
Well, I only have one concern with the AEW match. The people that Butcher and Blade were making the meat for, or preparing the meat for, then they ordered like DoorDash or something like that.
Yeah, they're hungry now.
Yeah, they were trying to eat, and now they can't eat. Oh, wow, look at that dive off the truck.
Actually, Ray DeRozzo brings up a good point. Yeah, sometimes I can dig the smaller heel being like a whiny chicken heel. I think I can get behind that. That does shut me up. That is one way you could effectively use a smaller heel.
I agree. You make Marco Stunt so annoying. He comes on the microphone. All you want to do is get punted. Right. But every time he's getting ready to get punted, Brody Lee would be there to stop him. Or actually, if we went with the gimmick to where they turned on Brody Lee, and that would turn Brody Lee babyface.
Right.
Every time you're getting ready to punt him, Jurassic Park Express would show up.
All right, Jake Snake Roberts sweating through his shirt, and now we're getting the cinematic camera right now. We switched the cinematic camera for Lance Archer going nuts in the battle. Nice.
You don't sweat your shirts in public?
Not like Jake.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Lance Archer, very good. Look, I know we're only an hour in, but so far AEW's had the better show for me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, this is weird. He just threw a bunch of people in the garbage, and now he's going back to the interview like nothing happened. It was a nice setup, but I think it's weird that they're ending it just on the interview. Enzo did that. Yes, Enzo was a good, small, little annoying heel.
Yes.
That's very true. David Bryan said the Young Bucks just ripped off the Hardys. Well, I'm sure it's not the first or last time.
But professional wrestling, we're all people that rip each other off either way. When I mean rip each other off, like moves from everybody.
Fair enough. Rotter Reflex says, I can say that about every small wrestler in wrestling history. Fair enough. Okay, Inigo Montoya asks, what do you guys of Rey Mysterio's heel turn WCW? I hated it. I thought it was stupid.
When he went without the mask?
My looking at it is Rey is one of the most over wrestlers there ever was. And I do think he was more over in WWE than even in WCW. I believe it or not. I think WCW he was over, but they didn't capitalize on him as much. To me, it's a complete waste. When you have a guy that's over like Rover, don't throw it away. It's like Hogan turned heel when people were getting bored of him, when he was getting passe, then they flipped him. That's what you do. You don't flip him at the height of it. That just doesn't make any sense.
I could agree with that.
So and Rey has perpetually been one of the most over guys there was possible. He got over despite Bischoff,
I think that the reason why Rey was over more in WWE than WCW is because Rey Mysterio was able to he had the machine of the WWE behind him.
Yes.
I think the reason why Rey Mysterio has been babyface for the majority of the time that he was in WWE is because, let me tell you, the kids loves masks, and those little masks sell. It's easy for you to be a Rey Mysterio for Halloween than The Rock for Halloween.
Well, yes and no, because if that's the case, how come, remember when they were pushing Kalisto as this solo star, doesn't really work? There have been several other guys, or Sin Cara, there have been guys with masks that they tried. None have the charisma of Rey. I like all those wrestlers. I like all of the Sin Caras, pick which one you want. I actually like all of them, as well as Kalisto. But it doesn't work. Rey has a charisma that nobody else does. But I agree with you. The mask and the toys are definitely part of it. But see, I think what you're talking about is exactly the issue. Because in WCW, Rey Mysterio was treated like a cruiserweight. He was in this little section. He was compartmentalized with the other Lucha Libres and the other wrestlers of his nature. He was considered like part of this side division, like 205 Live, if you will. Even though WCW's cruiserweight division was fantastic, I'm not taking away from it, he was still put over here. He was marketed as a cruiserweight luchador, where WWE figured out market him to the kids, kid-friendly luchador. That was mainstream, and they pitched him here, and that was the exact right thing to do. WWE didn't treat him as a side division; they treated him as a main star, which I thought was the best part of it, and he deserved it, to be honest.
I agree. I think that they did good with that.
Yeah.
And because of that, I think Rey Mysterio is now able to live comfortably.
Well, without an eye.
Yeah.
Actually, haven't got your thoughts on that. What did you think about that eye for eye match?
I think that the match was good in itself. I was wondering how they were going to get to the eye gimmick. He took his eye out, I guess. And yeah. I mean, it was nothing crazy. I think there's a term that I've heard before, and that I always used to fight it, and it was called a throwaway pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I felt that at ECW, that Extreme Rules Horror Show was a actually, let me do it again. It was a horror show. Sorry, Dave. Don't worry, it's YouTube music. I feel that Extreme Rules Horror Show was like a transition just to get you to watch Raw and SmackDown. That's the only purpose it was. Because there's a lot of unanswered questions. Like, okay, what happened to Bray Wyatt? What happened to Braun Strowman? Are we going to see Rey Mysterio without an eye now? Is Rey Mysterio's son going to avenge his one-eyed dad? Is Sasha Banks really the champion? There are a lot of unanswered questions leaving that event, and the whole purpose was to get you to watch Monday Night Raw and then SmackDown on Friday.
Yes, Harry is wanting to bring up his Nikki Bella again. We know, buddy.
What does he want to say about Nikki Bella? Go ahead. Let's. He wants to get himself over. Go ahead, get yourself over.
That she knows how to hold the title, unlike Sasha.
Okay, that's good for him.
But I do want to get to something else. So I was entertained by Ray when I was a kid. But Ray DeRozzo asked, what do you guys think of Extreme Rules and Dominic's future? Well, so we were just talking about. You were just talking about Extreme Rules. We were just discussing that. But that is one interesting question. What do you think of Dominic's future? What do you think is going to happen here with Dominic?
I think that Dominic could eventually turn on his dad.
I said that too, as a possibility. I don't see it working out well for him, but I kind of feel like there is that too. There's something in the air where it makes you think that's a possibility, right?
Right, because Dominic has the one thing that his dad never had. You know what that is? Height. Even though height doesn't matter, he can say to his dad, well, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to learn from Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins has one thing that you never had. He has height, and he's had more world championship runs than you have.
Wow.
Maybe him and his dad
join Seth's crew. Okay.
Join Seth's crew, yep. That'd be the biggest forget you to Rey Mysterio if Dominic joins the guy that took away his eye.
Now, if they do that angle, some people, there's two things. Well, one, I do suspect it would have to do with him taking the mask away from his father. But I also want to point this out. Some people have specified the idea is, do you think that since Rey is one of the most popular superstars that ever existed, do you think that sets Dominic up for failure? It's going to cripple his career, forever.
What, not having an eye?
No, Dominic's turning on his dad might set him up for failure, and because that might be not the best way to start off his career. Some people have said that if they do that with Dominic, have him turn on Rey, it's kind of rough because he's turning on Rey Mysterio. It'd be one thing if it was another wrestler, but it's Rey Mysterio, you know.
You see, the issue with Dominic is that he is now going to have to live in the shadow of his dad, because how do you take him out of the shadow of his dad? You got Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Flair has surpassed the shadow of her dad. Yeah. Charlotte Flair's her own person. You have The Rock. The Rock has overshadowed his whole entire family. Nobody compares him with his family. But now you're going to have Dominic. You're going to have to utilize Rey Mysterio to help get Dominic over, because we've already seen him with Rey Mysterio. Maybe if Rey Mysterio wasn't there, like The Rock's daughter, she's going to probably come in and try to carve her own path out, but The Rock's not there.
I do think it's
so she's going to be compared.
Well, I think it's easier when your offspring are different genders. So it's like for Charlotte Flair, she's a woman, and Ric Flair's a man. So when you're in a completely different division, I think it kind of makes it easier, where you're not competing for the same championship as your parent did. So I think that kind of helps. But Dominic doesn't have that option. However, since he is bigger, maybe that's there. But yeah, I think that's a good question. Yeah, what's up, Tristan?
Sorry, not frozen. Just kidding. But what if Charlotte competes for a male championship? What if going into SummerSlam, Randy Orton takes on Drew McIntyre and takes the belt, and then a little bit down the line, Charlotte Flair comes to avenge. Maybe Randy Orton does something to her dad, Ric Flair, and then Charlotte Flair comes to avenge that, because we can't get the payoff from Ric Flair because Ric Flair can't wrestle, and Charlotte goes for the WWF Championship.
Real quick, good night, Katie. Katie says good night.
Good night. Thanks for watching. Why is she going to bed tomorrow? She got to work tomorrow?
I don't know. She's just got to go.
She should be hanging out with us on the live stream. We only got a couple more minutes left.
She got
51 minutes.
She got things to do.
What do you mean? The most important thing for everybody to be doing right now, Dave, is hanging out with us on the live stream. What if you're giving away puppies right now, and she's going to be missing puppies? She doesn't like dogs?
I'm not giving away puppies, guys. So don't worry. We'll see you, Katie. Have a good night.
You see, now you blew the finish. Now she doesn't know that you're giving away puppies. So now there's no reason to watch.
I'm pretty sure
How does she know that? How does she know you're not giving out like coupons to White Castle? Because we'd be using those coupons.
Yeah, probably. Yes, Ray,
sorry, I have a problem. I like White Castle.
Yes, Harry, Ray could have eye surgery. Agreed. Uh-oh. Oh, you made some people mad in the chat talking about the idea of Charlotte winning a men's title. Some people are not happy with that.
Okay, so I don't. Let me tell you something. I don't care if I made them mad as long as they stick around on the stream for the next 50 some odd minutes. My question is, why are people upset that Charlotte cannot hold a men's championship? China has done it. There's been other women that have held men championships. And let's not even only talk about Tessa Blanchard. There's been other people that's done it. So why is Charlotte Flair not a good candidate for holding a men's title? I'm not saying by any means whatsoever to have the Big Show be the champion and have Charlotte Flair go after the belt, because that's not believable. If you put Charlotte Flair in the ring with somebody like Randy Orton, they can tell a solid story.
I don't think Randy Orton's a pretty big dude.
I even mentioned one time, maybe you could put Charlotte in the ring with AJ Styles for the belt.
Getting closer, but...
So where would you put her, on 205 Live? You never ask a woman her weight, so you won't know how much Charlotte weighs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want her to win the men's championship. Yeah, I agree. You're right. It has happened before, but personally, I just don't think it needs to happen. That's my opinion.
So what's left for Charlotte to do?
Well, I look at it this way. I say, because it's the same thing I said about Keith Lee giving up the championship. I feel like for a division to stand on its own, it shouldn't be compared to anything else. And when if you have Charlotte competing for the WWE championship, then you're saying she doesn't want the women's. And so now, for the rest of the women's division, now you have two options. Either one, well, why aren't they competing for the WWE title? Why are they competing for this? Charlotte clearly made it clear that this is not as important a championship as the rest of them. So where do you stand on that? I think it is. What's that?
But China did the same. China did the same exact thing. China went for the Intercontinental Championship after the Women's Championship.
Yes, and did the Women's Championship look all that much important when China wasn't even wasting her time going for it? I thought the same thing when China did.
But at the time, I think Miss Cat was the Women's Championship. So at that time, the Women's Championship. The Women's Championship wasn't really important until 2005, 2015, when they had the women's movement.
See, if I remember correctly, I don't think Kat ever won it. I think she was holding it for China when China eventually got there. But that's my point. If you are China, you shouldn't. I think it's in the best interest if you put her in the women's division to legitimize to make the title more valuable.
Okay, so what's left? Here's my question. What's left? Okay, it looks like Bronson Reed is going to be the North American Championship ladder match.
Yes, he is.
Okay, great. So my whole thing is, what's
all right? Never mind. Cat did win it. Okay, never mind. I apologize. I take it back.
What's left for Charlotte to do?
Well, because this is a problem they painted themselves in. This is a corner they painted themselves into. All right, they're the ones who gave Charlotte so much so fast. They did that. All right, that was their fault. And as far as I'm concerned, Charlotte just find something else. And who knows when Charlotte's coming back anyway?
Oh, maybe Charlotte can go play. She can go play cards in catering. Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a dumb idea. If they didn't give it to Charlotte, then who? Maybe. You know what? I will. For once, Dave, I will partially agree with you. Maybe they could have given it to Naomi. Maybe. Instead of giving it to Charlotte so many times. But I'm like, look at Charlotte. Charlotte's the number one female in the WWE. I think Charlotte sometimes in certain categories, she's easily in the top 5 wrestlers in the WWE. Easily.
Wait, men and women or just women?
Wrestlers, period.
I disagree. I think she's too botchy.
She's too botchy. Okay, how many wrestling matches have you ever had, Dave?
I'm just saying she does make a few botches. All I'm saying.
Okay, then.
But so what? So you don't care about botches because you're a fan of. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
But why do botches even matter?
Hey, when you talk about the best, doesn't a botch? I mean, yeah, they happen. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm not criticizing that. But if you want to take the best, you should be able to not have that at a minimum. So that's all I'm saying. Do you really think she qualifies in the top 5 when there are going to be other wrestlers out there who botch less than she does?
So, okay, so you're trying to tell me, Dave, if you wrestle a 20-minute match, 25, 30-minute match, right? And you have a 5-second botch, that negates the whole other 19 minutes and 55 seconds?
I didn't say it negates that. All right? I said the point is, I don't think if you botch as often as she does, you should be in the top 5. I think there are easily 5 other wrestlers I could name better than Charlotte. And in terms of women's wrestler, I personally think Tessa Blanchard is better than Charlotte.
No, I think that Charlotte's better than Tessa Blanchard.
And that's fine. I actually think Bayley's better than Charlotte. I think Bayley is a very reliable talent, and I think she does a great job of getting people to look good. Her promo work's not great, but in the ring, I actually think Bayley's better than Charlotte.
Okay, but so if her promo work is not good, then how can we say that Charlotte is that Bayley's a better wrestler? In order to be a wrestler,
because Charlotte's promos are not anything stellar either. Okay.
Let me tell you, but hey, okay, so who then? Give me. Okay, fine. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Give me your top 5 wrestlers in the WWE.
Right now, I'm going to start off not in any particular order, but Randy Orton definitely goes on that list. In WWE, Randy Orton is definitely on that list.
I agree 100%.
Okay. AJ Styles, you just kind of have to say AJ Styles.
I agree. 3 more spots.
Okay, Daniel Bryan.
Okay. All right. I will agree
on that one. You're not 100% feeling it.
I'm not sold. But okay.
Okay,
I'll put him on the list.
Are we doing NXT or are we just doing WWE? Or are we just doing main roster?
WWE.
Like main
roster? WWE. Everybody. If you wrestle for WWE, even performance, this includes performance center talent as well too. So you can put Simone Johnson.
Dumb deal. That's Keith Lee goes on that list easily. I'm not even gonna don't even have to struggle with this one. Keith Lee goes on the list for sure. Right.
Okay. So far you got Keith Lee, you've got Daniel Bryan, you got AJ Styles, you got Randy Orton. Give me your 5th person.
But you don't want Daniel Bryan though. You want me to take Daniel Bryan out?
No, I'm going to hear who's your 5th. I don't want Keith Lee either. Who's your 5th?
Wait, what? You don't think Charlotte's better than Keith Lee?
I do think that Keith Lee is good, but I think that Charlotte is better
than Keith Lee. Wow.
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Kevin Owens, but okay.
Kevin Owens. No, give me yours. Don't listen to that guy. Know it, Mark All?
No, I was saying Kevin Owens. No one said Kevin Owens. I like Kevin Owens.
Nah, bro.
I cannot believe you just said that. You think Charlotte's a better wrestler than Keith Lee? That is crazy.
I think that Charlotte Flair is a better worker than Keith Lee.
Okay, fine. Based off of what? Hit me, because I cannot believe you're saying.
Based on how she's carrying the matches, her believability in the matches, I think that Keith Lee at times bumps around a little bit too much for the smaller guys. So he's insulting the fans. He's insulting the fans' intelligence.
I agree.
Because
I do agree with that. Because
Keith Lee can do a moonsault. Let me tell you, if Keith Lee's wrestling Dijakovic, go ahead and do your flips, your moonsaults, your drop kicks, your dives, all of that. But if Keith Lee's jumping out the ring onto somebody else, like Johnny Gargano should be R.I.P. You know, there's a Hearst parked in front of my apartment. I don't know why. It's been this since last night.
I do agree that Keith Lee bumps around a little too light for his own good sometimes. And I don't like that he sells a little too much for guys who are like Adam Cole, who are clearly smaller than him. I do agree with that. I still think, with that being said, he's better than Charlotte. Okay, fine. How about this one? I'm going to put you on the spot. I'm going to put you on the spot. Sasha Banks.
No, I don't. I don't think that Sasha Banks is the best wrestler.
No. Better than Charlotte.
No, I don't think that Sasha Banks is better than Charlotte. I think that Sasha Banks is just as good as Charlotte, but I don't think that they're better. I think that right now, with Charlotte Flair not being there, this is time for Sasha Banks to shine.
Agreed.
Sasha is right now in the benefit. A lot of the women right now are in the benefit because you don't have Bayley. I'm sorry, you don't have Becky Lynch, and you don't have Charlotte. So if I was a woman
and
right
Ronda,
now in the WWE,
also Ronda,
and Ronda. So if I was one of those women right now, man, let me tell you, I'd be fighting, I'd be clawing for that TV time. Like right now, everybody's fighting for Naomi. It's a good time for Naomi because there's not a lot of noise around her.
Okay, Inigo Montoya brings up an interesting one. I want to see what your answer is. He says that The Miz is better.
Than who?
Than Charlotte.
In what
in the
category?
game, in the same game you ever played. But I want to know where do you feel on the Miz? No, you say no on the Miz based off of what?
No, based on the Miz. Okay, so if we're going all around, Charlotte Flair has held more championships than the Miz. But even though, okay, fine, it's a work. So, but if we're going to put those in this,
titles though.
Okay, but Charlotte Flair's been the number one in her division.
Fine.
The Miz made it. Okay, if you want to look at it like this, the Miz made event in WrestleMania one time. So did Charlotte.
Right.
But Charlotte's still number one in her division more times than Miz has been number one in his division. I think the Miz is good.
But as I think
the Miz is a good heel, and he's a good person to help get baby faces over. And right now, I think the Miz is gold because let me tell you, that song that he was doing was so funny.
Ron Hawthorne is responding that the idea that Charlotte is better than Sasha, he says that's a no. But Ron, he did say that he thinks they're equal. He didn't say that Charlotte was better than Sasha. So to be clear, that is what he said. Harry Flynn mentions Otis. I don't agree with that, but
Otis. Nah, chill, bro. What kind of crack you smoke, bro? Chill. Nah.
Right. Mostly due to her being related to Rick. WG Phil, I don't think that's the case. As I said, then how come David Flair never had a big career, you know?
Oh, well.
I know people really, really want to... Don't forget, when it comes to nepotism, nothing ever beats Triple H. Okay? You could throw... I don't think that's why Charlotte made it. Charlotte is genetically, with her size and her capabilities, athletically, she has a lot of tools and attributes. To me, it has nothing to... Did Rick play a part in it? Sure, but again, David Flair's career went nowhere. So,
right, and even if you look at Bruno Sammartino, his son David Sammartino was a wrestler as well too.
Right,
I think you have that. I think you have that foundation of your parent, but it's still your fight to lose. Even though you have the parent, it's still your fight to lose.
With there are a few exceptions, but for the most part, nepotism is not as much of WWE's game as people. I personally feel it's not as big of a thing in WWE as people say it is. As I said, Triple H is the exception to the rule. Outside of that, look at a lot of people who were related to a lot of big stars and where were their opportunities? Where did they come from? It doesn't happen as often. Like if you say, well, The Rock was related to Rocky Johnson. Yeah, he's The Rock. He didn't get there because of his dad. He got there because he's The Rock.
Right. But you know what, though? I'm not saying that somebody wouldn't say, hey, look, you know what, this is my son. Like if I was running a company, a wrestling company, and you said, hey, Dave, you know, look at my daughter wants to be a color commentator. You know, she's been practicing, she's been here and there. You know, can you listen to her?
Right.
I would listen to her more than Joe Schmo sitting in your chat.
Right.
Because you're my friend. I was like, you know, I will listen to her and I will give her feedback on how she could become better. But if I listen to her, I'm like, damn, she's good. She's got it in, but it's still her fight to lose.
Right. Agreed. I think the nepotism, it gets you a foot in the door, but that's all it gets you. It gets you an audition, but that's about it. Because for any case of someone you could say, even suggest as nepotism, even when I don't think it's true, but even if anybody you suggest, I bet you I can name, for everyone you named, I can name someone who went away, who wasn't, if not more. Because while you have your Charlotte Flairs, you have your Triple H's, who, again, I don't think Charlotte Flair really is, but for that, what about Noelle Foley? Okay? Remember her? Who I would love to see.
She never wrestled in the WWE.
And she tried to.
Some people that's not gifted.
Right.
But real quick,
she's still working on it. She's still working on it. She said, you know, she's still working on it. But, you know, and David...
You were talking about you want a wrestling match? I would switch to NXT right now. Switch to NXT. You're getting an actual wrestling match right now.
I've been watching NXT. I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
Okay. Oh, it's all right. I've been talking to you the entire time. I haven't even been watching wrestling. I think this is more fun.
Always do. All these watch-alongs are mostly me just getting sucked into other conversations. Eddie Guerrero's daughter too, but where's she at? Yeah, exactly. What about what happened to Eddie Guerrero's daughter? Where's she at?
Well,
her mom's now in AEW, so apparently not very good.
Rumor and innuendo was that she left because she had an eating disorder. Right. But you know what? Honestly, not for nothing, the wrestling business is a tough business. It's not a business where anybody could just walk in, right? Sure. It's not working at Walmart where all you're doing is stocking shelves or working at like your local supermarket. It's not. It's a very physical business. It's a mental business, and some people honestly can't take criticism.
Right.
One of the things that I had to learn, and one of the things I tell new wrestlers, like, look, In order for you to become better, in order for you to go from here to here, you need to be able to learn how to take criticism. If you can't take criticism, you're always going to be here. And one of the things you want to be as a professional wrestler is you want to be better than you were before. Because you know what the saying is? The saying is you're only as good as your last match.
Yes.
That's all people will hold you to, your last match.
I think it's very important that you brought that up, Tristan, especially because when a lot of people don't realize this about professional wrestling, and even though they do it all the time, we've been doing it in this chat, you are judged very much on your physical appearance, and that's something very personal for some people who can't really take it. It does struggle with. We've been talking about people's size, and some of the guys who really make it are guys who just do not care. You can say whatever you want about their size, and they're like, good, point taken, and they kind of understand how they look and where they fit into the role. But there are then women who they get say, hey, you gained a couple of inches around your side. Or you're losing that mass. Why can't you just shed this gut? You're working out the top, but you always got this little spare tire thing, and it looks terrible. And it's like they'll just flat out tell it to you. They won't pad it. They'll just say it, and then you get self-conscious trying to work out, and it's. But that is the thing. So yeah, exactly. I think it's a good point that you brought that up.
You should always be working on doing something different. Like, I know that I'm not a body guy. I could be a body guy, but I like White Castle too much. So what I do, my whole job is to...
Huh? What? Who said what? Anyway, continue.
Sorry, I'm not frozen. I gotta stop doing that. Sorry, my eyes were getting dry. Right, okay, but I like White Castle too much. And my whole thing is that I know that my job as a heel is to go in there and get people over. And that's what I do. When my music hits, you already hate me because somebody always, I don't know why, these people always have Tristan Law sucks signs. So when I go out, they always hold these signs and they're booing me. So like, fine, real, they don't know that I suck. You know why? Because they don't know that I'm the greatest thing that's ever happened to them since their birth. Okay? Since the birth of their kids. No matter, there's nothing greater that's ever happened to them than for me to show up. So by the time I go out there, and they even hate me even more, I don't know why, because you know what? I tell people about themselves on the microphone. I tell them that, like, I'm the greatest thing that ever happened to you, and that you should sit down and shut up. These people want to boo me. Like, sit down and shut up. Like, if you did more of this and less of this, maybe you would actually learn something. So I tell them to sit down and shut up, and get upset. So when the babyface comes out, they're, like, super excited. They don't care who it is. It could even be you, Dave, and you're coming out to beat me. Try to beat me. Yeah, because you couldn't, right? You can't, right? That's right.
Unless Bailey was my ref, right?
Well, if Bailey was your ref, she'd probably be helping me because I'm friendlier than you are. Yeah, it is.
No, I just go up to Bailey and say, unlike Tristan, I think you and Sasha are both better than Charlotte. Unlike Tristan, I think you're both better.
All right, I'll give you that. But either way, my whole point is to get the babyface over. That's it. I want you to hate me more than you love the babyface. Because if you hate me so much, by the time the babyface comes out, oh my God, you don't care who it is. You just want me to shut up. You want me to get my face punched in. And when it happens at the end, or when I win, and a lot of people would say it's cheating. I don't think it's cheating. It's only cheating if you get caught. But I think that when I win the match, yeah, it's only cheating if you get caught. Remember that, kids. That by the time at the end of the match, when I win the match by hook or by crook, you're gonna hate me even more and love the babyface still. That's my point. Every time. Hate the heel.
Fair enough. Peroso King, not surprisingly, is a very big fan of Big Stan Hansen and his heel work. As a Peroso fan, I'm sure Stan Hansen played a very big part of how you feel about that.
Was it the chewing tobacco?
He was talking about whipping around and everything like that with the bull rope. Ray DeRosa would like to know, are you getting WWE Battlegrounds?
I am, because I am looking for something else to play. I played The Last of Us 2. Great game if you've played The Last of Us 1. If you have not played The Last of Us 1, play The Last of Us 1 and play The Last of Us 2. But I'm looking for something else to play, and from what I understand, that game drops in September.
Ron Hawthorne would like to know, Tristan, who is your favorite heel currently?
Currently, my favorite heel is MJF. Actually, no. It's MJF, Baron Corbin, and Randy Orton. I can't choose one.
Well, you have to. That's the game.
That's the one. Actually, you see, I'm the law. And because I'm the law, Tristan Law, and I got a new podcast coming out, because I am the law, I can make the rules, so I'm choosing those three.
All right, well, there you go, Ron. I try to get you an answer, but somebody who wants to...
Okay, fine. I will give him an answer. So, MJF, because I like when he comes out there, he's not like other heels that want to be cool. He's not interested in being cool. He's interested in going out there and making you hate him. Baron Corbin, the same exact thing as well, too. And Randy Orton, man. Randy Orton, even though he's a great wrestler, man, you just want to see Randy Orton get his butt kicked. So that's why those are my three favorite wrestlers.
You know,
Heels.
I do wonder about a lot of the backstage stories we have heard about Randy Orton. I do wonder, are any of those, do you think, planted just to kind of get the fans a little more in the kayfabe? Because I thoroughly believe a lot of stories on the internet about wrestlers are there just to keep kayfabe alive. Do you think some of these might be exaggerations, or do you think Randy Orton really does these kinds of things?
Hey, what do you think ever happened to Bat Boy?
What?
Bat Boy from the National Enquirer? Yeah, it was a gimmick that I heard he's living in a cave somewhere. Dave, stop believing everything you read on the internet, all right?
But that's what I was just asking you. Okay, so it's the same thing. So you feel the same way, huh?
I don't believe Dave. The way my mother raised me, and Dave knows all know-it-alls. I hope that you guys don't believe every single thing you see on the internet. There are things out there, like, for example, when they're posting things about, and I know this is not a political thing, but when they're posting things about different politicians, the media vet it. Say, you know what? Let me see if I can find it from a reputable source. So if you can't find it from the Times or National Geographic, but you find it from Joe Schmo's website, and Joe Schmo sits in his parents' basement and concocts stories all day just to get clicks on his website to sell advertisement, that's not a credible source. So like I don't know where those stories would be coming from that's saying Randy Orton is this and Randy Orton is that. I don't know anybody firsthand that says Randy Orton is this and Randy Orton is that. It's only the stories that I've ever heard online.
Hey, fair enough. If it's Harry says if it's on Facebook, it's real. I think he's kidding.
No. If it's on Wikipedia, it's real.
Well, now I do want to say, but I know we really didn't talk about it at all. But yes, the Stature match was very good, and Oni Lorcan match was very good. I do like the story that these two are telling, and this is a good bit of technical wrestling. But as you can see, look, still selling the arms, still keeping look at the hatred in their eyes towards each other. They are still working the story. And my new favorite interviewer's here.
Better than more favorite than Carly Caruso?
Yes. Oh man, now she's gone. Okay. What am I missing over on the TNTs?
You're sad, Dave. You know what the problem is? Is that WWE needs to stop showing the replays. Because if I just watch the whole entire match, what do you think I'm going to do during the replay?
Fair enough.
I'm going to change the channel. AEW's not doing that. Utilize that time. I'm telling you, if they cut down don't get it wrong. If you show me an interview while it's happening during the match, if you show me the replay while it's happening during the match, like it's something really cool, that's great. But don't show me how the match finished. We just watched the finish a minute ago. Utilize that minute to get somebody over, or maybe keep the camera on Oni Larkin and have him standing there still selling. Or maybe take that extra minute to jump into the next segment with Robert Stone.
Well, speaking of which, we got Robert Stone right now, and Mercedes Martinez shaking his hand. Interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, that's interesting. I really like Mercedes Martinez. I'm actually a really big fan of hers. I think she's really, really talented.
I think I've been on shows with Mercedes Martinez. She's been around for a while.
That is the thing about professional. I was thinking about this earlier. Where in the business, even if you haven't been to WWE, even if you just worked in independence, you meet so many people because, despite what a lot of people think, a lot of people are necessary to make this machine move. Like, there are people that you never see behind the stage that are always there, but you meet so many people. It's like me and you. We've technically never really worked together. Well, on a wrestling show, we've never worked together. You've been. I've been in one company and you've been in another, but we know all the same people. We know each other.
Right.
It's just how the business works. I mean, we technically did meet. Well, I mean, and we know a lot of mutual friends and all that. And it's just one of those crazy things. Like we both know Sonny Kiss. You met him under different circumstances than I did, but that's just how this business is. So there's so many people you meet, and you forget people all the time. But when you see them, you just know them.
Right. Right.
There's still people to this day whose names I can't remember, and it's like it drives me crazy because I'm one of those guys who wants to remember everybody's name. So if I don't, it bothers me.
Let me help you out. If you don't ever remember somebody's name, brother.
Yeah,
hey brother, how's it going?
Brother. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, that's what everyone does. Yep.
So, hey brother, how's it going?
Yep.
My shoulder itchy.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. I've been doing that. I've been doing that forever.
See, you're doing all right.
Yep.
So next time I see you, I'm going to say, hey brother, I want to give you the worker handshake.
The worker handshake. Yeah, true that. I always took it as a big compliment when guys.
We actually saw the work handshake on Slammiversary.
Oh yeah. I also took it as when people start remembering who I was always impressed. I was like, whoa, that guy knows me now. I want so much.
I remember when Jimmy Snuka. I don't think Jimmy Snuka ever remembered my name because every time I saw him, and I've wrestled Jimmy Snuka before. Hey brother.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he ever knew my name. If I don't know if he remember my name. I mean, maybe he did remember me. Hey, brother. Remember what we did last time, brother? Yeah, do you remember that? Let's do that again, brother. Okay, no problem. Yeah, maybe Jimmy Snuka never knew my name. Maybe he thought my name was brother.
Well, if that's the case, I think he doesn't know a lot of people. He didn't know a lot of people's names.
Right, because everybody's
Chris Jericho's coming out.
You think he's here to play baseball?
I don't think that.
Softball.
Maybe, yeah. All right, so Jericho's out, still wearing the same jacket from the orange. You know, what I think is weird is some people really had a problem with the orange juice segment.
Why?
I don't know. It's like, this is classic wrestling stuff. Obviously, like, what's everyone's beef with this? Some people thought it was hokey, some people thought it was corny. I don't get it. I thought it was perfectly fine.
I know why they have an issue with the orange juice, Dave.
What's that?
You see, that's why I should be like the number one know-it-all. It should be like Dave Knows Wrestling, starring Tristan Law. The reason why everybody has an issue with the orange juice is because they're orange juice advocates. That's right. They advocate orange juice and the improper treatment of oranges. Yes. And if you ask me, there were some oranges in there. That's an improper treatment of oranges. Yep.
Oh, let's see. Okay, so it's so we got our main events. We have Jurassic Express versus Chris Jericho and Jake Hager, and then on the other side we have Karrion Kross versus Donovan Dijakovic. Which are you watching, Tristan?
I think I'm going to stick with AEW.
I'll switch over to NXT then. I am interested to a degree, but I'm going to go to NXT for this one. I think NXT has had the weaker show for the most part, except for the last match. And oh wait, they haven't started this match yet. It's a Finn Balor promo. Okay, never mind. I'll go back to AEW.
Oh wow! They had a big debut on AEW.
Who?
I don't want to ruin it for you. You got to change the channel to see.
I'm watching it right now. Who's here?
Oh yeah, it is a big debut. I'm just kidding. That's what's I can make you change the channel.
Well, I was going to say the first hour for sure goes to AEW. The second hour, I don't know. It's going to be a little tight on this one. And I'm assuming this is the main event. Maybe it's not. Maybe this is only going to be 10 minutes, and we'll have another match. Who knows?
True, you're right. So who do you think would win based so far? Based on what you've seen so far, who do you think has won?
Jericho's got to win. Oh wait, out of the two shows.
Yes. Who do you think wins the ratings? If it was up to you, who would you give the mark?
I would give it. If it was up to me, I'm giving it to AEW. The main event might switch. I'm not going to lie. The main event might switch me over, but for right now, I'm still giving it to AEW. AEW's put on the better show. I haven't seen anything that. The worst thing on the AEW show was the silly fighting everywhere match that they have. But again, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It wasn't as dumb as the stupid swamp fight.
Oh yeah, about that.
So it wasn't as dumb as the the gumball, ping pong ball eyeball that Rey Mysterio had to hold in his hand. So
hey, that wasn't a working eyeball. That was a shooting eyeball.
Sure, it was.
It was a shooting eyeball. It was a legit eyeball.
Yeah, legit for an animal that uses a golf ball to see. Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's very terrible for you to say. Now Rey Mysterio can get handicap parking, and you think that it was a working eyeball, Dave? Nose wrestling?
Silly me.
From YouTube?
Yeah, I
comics?
I'm sorry. I apologize.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to the people that are watching us right now, thinking that you think a guy having one less eyeball is like terrible. I mean, not terrible.
Yeah. Well, I see your point, Tristan.
I think that you should write Rey Mysterio and tell him that you feel bad for what happened to him and you wish him a speedy recovery. Go ahead, do it. I want to see it on Twitter. Go ahead.
I'll do a handwritten card.
You got to use your real phone and use your real Twitter.
Oh, yes, because now I'm apologizing.
Yes. I don't see you touching your phone. Looks like you're... There you go. Wait, that's not even how you type, Dave.
It's how I type. Shut up, don't judge me.
Oh, wow. How do you type without seeing?
That's my sad typing. I let my feelings do the typing for me.
Oh, I let my feelings do the typing. What feelings do you have? Obviously, you're empty and cold on the inside for thinking that's a joke of Rey Mysterio. It's not a joke. You see, it's always funny until somebody gets their eye poked out.
Okay, so... Oh, yeah. What about the sympathy to Big Van Vader when that happened to him, huh? Yeah, where's the sympathy for Vader?
I was a kid at that time. I was a baby.
Yeah. All right, so back to the main or possible main event, Jurassic Express versus Jericho and Swagger. Now, personally, I actually didn't ask you this. Who do you think is if the win was up to you, who would you give the win to between these two shows?
So based on what I saw with the Keith Lee Championship, I would have switched off the channel. However, I appreciated watching the end of Jack Reacher, so I would give the first hour to AEW. I would. Jack Reacher was awesome in the end. Oh my God, great movie. And I think it's coming on again on TNT. Yep, I think so. Actually, no, NBA on TNT is going to come on. Hey, we should stick around and do an NBA live stream. Hey, how many of the know-it-alls would watch that? But yeah, I'd give it to AEW.
They tend to hate it when I talk about basketball on this channel.
Do they? So what about my 600-pound life when it comes on TLC?
What?
Yeah, my 600-pound life is coming on TNT at 10 p.m. Maybe they want to watch it and get our commentary on that.
No thanks. Harry Flynn actually says that his mom hates Rey Mysterio. That is shocking. But not him, though. He likes Rey Mysterio.
Does she hate him more because he can't... Maybe because he can't see her.
Anyway, so Alexis says Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio were just poking around.
I see what she was going with there.
Do basketball, that would be interesting. No, wouldn't it? Okay, so guess who's making an appearance in the ring on AEW? Oh, of course, Marco Stunt.
There you go. What if we go to the QVC channel and watch Christmas in July sale? And we can commentate on that. That'd be so awesome.
I don't even know what channel QVC is on. I didn't realize it's still a thing. You know, like if you're tempted to buy something on QVC, you know that Amazon exists, right? You know that's an option, right? I just want to let people know that.
That's true. Ooh, Judge Judy is coming on. We could do Judge Judy. Oh, you know what movie? You know what movie's on right now?
What's that?
Oh no, I thought it was it's See No Evil, but I thought it was the movie with it's not the See No Evil with Kane.
Matt Hardy showing up.
What do you think he said to do?
Oh, he's sitting in the stands looking ominous. Jericho's got Jungle Boy by the hair. I feel that Jericho has to win this one. It's the only way to keep him looking credible, but I do find it very odd that I think that him and this Orange Cassidy feud seems like it is going on still. I think that's kind of strange, don't you?
No, not really.
I kind of feel they blew it. They blew the feud that had its blow off moment already. But like you want to talk about where to go? Where's there to go between these two from now on?
Well, Jericho still needs to get he needs to get the payoff for the orange juice.
Well, but that's what I mean. After they had their pay-per-view bout or whatever, I didn't think they would keep going, but they are.
Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. When their ratings took a hit with the two of them in the program, I thought that was an initial warning sign that they probably should move on after they're done. You could make the argument that they only lost the ratings because people were watching NXT for Sasha, but still.
Or maybe they were watching like QVC. They were looking for a good sale. You never know why people change the channel these days, dude.
You still watch QVC, don't you? You're that guy, aren't you?
Yeah, I love watching QVC. Like, oh my god, you remember when WWE SummerSlam was on the Home Shopping Network after SummerSlam?
No, not even.
That was like SummerSlam, golly, SummerSlam 99, 98?
Nope.
You don't remember that? Wow, you're such a mark.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah, you're a mark.
So the mark.
Give me an M. M. Give me an A. A. Give me an R. How do you make an R?
Because you went to the Home Shopping Network for WWE stuff, that makes you less of a mark than me?
R. Give me a K. K. What does that spell? Dave's a mark.
So like I said, because you were willing to go to Home Shopping Network makes you less of a mark than me?
Look, I was a kid, all right? I didn't have money to buy anything. I was just happy to watch wrestling. Doesn't make me a mark. It makes me a kid. A kid mark.
Yeah, it makes you a marky.
No, it makes me a kid mark.
Marky, yeah, that's what you call a kid, marky.
No, I don't like that.
What term is kid? This an everyday thing? No, Raina, we've been missing you, buddy. Where you been? Just kind of showing up here. I wasn't going to, but I saw some stuff in the comments for yesterday about the tag team game. Some people mentioned that they wanted me to come on today, so I think people are assuming that I'm just going to go on every Wednesday. But yeah. Comparing Cross. Actually, you know what? I am switching over to this NXT match because it's got to be on now. Overt is back. Welcome back. And I'm watching DJ Khaled tell somebody how to brush their teeth.
Well, we just all learned how to wash our hands.
Oh, that's true. All right. Well, this picture-in-picture, it's not bad, but I'm definitely going back to TNT.
TNT had picture-in-picture too. I just switched off to AEW.
When they're on picture-in-picture, I normally switch unless it's something like really good.
Right. Maybe you see, you're missing the 3-minute close-up of Karrion Kross. Like, what if that's somebody that's got a close-up of his face for 3 minutes?
That's a good question. Oh, someone called you, Inigo Montoya calls you a K-Mark shopper. Well, congratulations, Harry, on your last birthday present of this year. I hope you got something good.
What did he call me?
Inigo called you a K-Mark sharper.
Sorry, Dave.
It sounds like you have a cricket problem in your house.
I do. Like, these crickets just won't leave.
All right. So what are you thinking of this AEW? See, I think it's very weird that they built the show around this. Like, I almost wished it was backwards. I almost wish that Cody and Eddie Kingston were in the main event. I almost feel that would have been the better choice.
Okay, I think that would have been good, but they're running off the thing. They're running off the thing that they feel that Jericho is the demo god, and because he's the demo god, because he's capturing the demographic, and the reason why he's capturing the demographic, it's because the lead. And I said that before, but they probably feel like he's a draw, and he is.
Sure.
But
I mean, you got a point there. Cody and Eddie were able to bring in. If like you watch the show and you're like, wow, Eddie's here, who knows what else can happen, and keep the show on. You got a point with that.
Right. Demo god. Demographic.
But I still wish they came up with a stronger main event than this. I don't think this is all that impressive.
No, I mean, it would be a middle of the show match. Maybe they start the match like at 8:50, or maybe 8:55 and have it carry on through the hour. This would be a good match. I wouldn't switch past through the hour. I'd want to watch this.
Gotcha. Harry got a Mike Kanellis action figure. I didn't know they made a Mike Kanellis action figure.
Where'd he get it from?
Raina says that people who call people marks are marks. I think that's a good point, Raina.
Well, you know what? Fine then. You're a Raina. You're a Raina, Dave.
That's mean. What else? And David Bryan, I have seen way too many of them, but I am not necessarily. They're not on my number one commercial exhaustion list. Jericho really needs to loosen up on the sides. Okay.
On what sides?
I don't know. I don't know what he means. Ray DeRosa wants to know your thoughts on Eli Drake.
Eli Drake. Where's Eli Drake?
NWA.
Oh, I think he's a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm switching back to NXT too. Very good points over productions I'm proud of. This tag team match is going nowhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so Donovan Dijakovic just got punched in the throat or something. Now, of course, the one thing that kept me from... I want to watch this match more, and I just keep forgetting about it because I think it's clear that Karrion Kross is going to win, right?
You think so?
I changed my mind, Mark. Reina, I'm sorry, buddy. All right, I'm with you too. I'm with you. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the most insulting thing being called you. It's not like being called base up. So all right. Sorry, buddy.
What is your arena being? Your arena?
No. Reina's mad that I said that being called Reina is an insult. So he said after he defended me, I had the nerve to say that.
Wow. You see? He's being a mark. He's being a mark for himself.
Purasso King wants to know who are your top 5 guys that you've worked with in the Indies. Oh, and he was talking to you too. He was also insulting you too.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm so mad.
But yeah,
I'm so mad.
Purasso King will want to know your top 5 guys that you've worked with.
Okay. In no particular order. Kenny Bengal. Kenny Bengal was really good. I've worked Kenny Bengal twice. I liked working. This was like years ago. Dan Murdoch. He used to make my jaw click with his forearms. Let's see. I like wrestling Steve Off. I really like. You know who I really want to wrestle now is Steve Off, because we're much older and smarter, and we're not ab guys. So I want to see what we can do now. Let's see. Who else did I like wrestling? Oh, you know who I really like wrestling?
Whoa! I like that you just threw Steve under the bus with that. Oh, we're not ab guys. You just threw him right under there.
I really enjoyed wrestling Balls Mahoney on the Indies.
Yeah.
Balls Mahoney was really fun to work with. Oh my God. Balls Mahoney was the man. He was such a cool guy in the locker room.
He retired recently, didn't he?
Balls Mahoney passed away years ago.
Then never mind.
Mm-hmm. And let's see, who else would I like to? One of my guys I like to work. Man, I would have to think about this for a little bit. But I've worked a lot of people in the Indies. I like the Zombie King. What's his name? Junior Flow. Zombie King Junior Flow. I like him because he's a smaller guy, and he like flies around and flip flops around. I like that. So don't get it wrong. Like I'm not in there bumping for him easily. He's got to work for it. But I think we still put on a good match.
He's one of those guys that is like so super over. Like if you've ever seen him at a live event, like the crowd goes nuts for him.
Yes, the crowd goes ape for him.
Like Junior Flow is one of the in companies I've been to, like local independent wrestling promotions that I've witnessed. There's like a small handful of people who I've seen the biggest reactions for. Junior Flow is one of them, and the other one is Sonny Kiss.
You know what? I liked working with Sonny Kiss too. If I had to keep putting on the list, Sonny Kiss is extremely light in the ring. Like you don't even if you didn't know he was touching you, he's not touching you. Like he's extremely light in the ring.
Because like Sonny, if you watched old Capital Wrestling, now Catalyst Wrestling, you hear it a little bit on TV, but it's not the same as being there. And when you're there, the crowd goes nuts. Again, before a show starts, they're chanting Sonny's name even though nothing's happening. And when he won the title, the place went nuts. I was timekeeping that match, and when he won it, as soon as he won it, the place erupted. Like it was one of the biggest pops. Again, in person it's different than on TV, but in person that was one of the biggest pops I ever heard.
Right. Were you able to accurately keep the time, or we just guys were just doing like TV time?
No, I kept the time. I did my job.
Look at you, Dave.
Yeah.
Being able to watch the show and
I had to. And so
lose time.
it's one of those proud. I personally, timekeeper is not. I'm not trying to make it sound like a big deal, but it is. It's a satisfying feeling when you know you've rung that bell, and that's really what sets it off. Like the 3 counts there, but when you set that bell and that bell rings and it's official and the crowd goes nuts, you're like, man, I did that. Kind of feeling.
Right.
Like
Like
they're not cheering for me,
like
but I'm
fired
saying
the first shot in the war.
exactly. Like they cheer for the 3, but when they hear that bell, that's what makes them lose it. Like that's what they're waiting for. Per also,
Another guy.
If you ever worked with Kevin Steen,
No, I didn't. I've never worked with Kevin Steen.
Harry Flynn would like to know your
One
thoughts on
guy I
Matt
did
Rivera.
like wrestling though.
Oh,
So what?
Harry Flynn would like to know your thoughts on Matt Rivera.
The rapper? Is it the guy from the Extreme Cheapskates? Well, he answers that. But you remember the referee that got the stuff sprayed in his eyes on Sunday with Sasha Banks?
Yes.
I enjoyed wrestling him back in the day. He was good to wrestle.
Oh, no kidding. I always thought he kind of looked like Drake, but everyone says, like, every time I talk about him, I'm like, that referee that looks like Drake, and everyone goes, he doesn't look like Drake. I was like, but you knew who I was talking about, didn't you?
Doesn't look like Drake at all.
But you know who I'm talking about. Anytime I say that,
because
not now with the hair,
use
but
it in
when his hair was shorter. When his hair was shorter, I thought he kind of looked like him. I'm not saying they were twins or nothing. I'm just saying, anytime I say it, though, you know who I'm talking about.
Oh, somebody's taking off a mask. Who's that?
All I'm saying is, I know they don't look identical, but he looks enough like him that if I say it, you know who I'm talking about.
Sammy Guevara is back.
Oh, then I'm going back. Okay,
Yeah.
You're telling an interesting story of NXT, but I've seen it. Karrion Kross, they're really just.
I guess he went through his training and he donated enough money. Like he donated his whole entire salary for a year, from what I understand. Could be work, could be shoot. But let me tell you, if they donate my salary for a year, I'm not coming to work. I'm not coming to work for.
Well, I think the biggest part was Sasha talking to him and acknowledging what happened. So I think that is a big part of it. See, here's something I don't get. They ran away because Orange Cassidy showed up. Like, why is the Inner Circle running? Like, run for the hills is Orange Cassidy. He's not that kind of babyface.
You see, like I don't get it either because I'm watching now. Why did
Reina, that's not what happened.
You had Jericho, you had the LAX guys, and then you had Jake Hager, and then you had Sammy Guevara. Right. So 5 guys powdered for 2 guys. I don't like that.
That's what
it doesn't make sense.
Don't get me wrong. If you're Sammy and Orange Cassidy comes run, you run if you're Sammy's size. Yeah, right. Okay, fine, that I believe. But yeah, why did they run away? I don't get the finish of that match.
Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense.
Keith Lee's pink shoes. Okay.
Doesn't make sense. Maybe.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
Maybe if the Jurassic Park Express was still standing on their feet, like it looked like that now, and they like, you know what, we don't want to deal with the drama. Let's deal with it next week, and they just powder out. Then that makes sense. But they're not going to sell me in that. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
So that's.
Guys, are watching My 600-Pound Life?
Not
even. Put that on right now.
But that was a weird. See, that was a weird ending. The last match is where it all came apart for me. I think this was probably where. I want to say it's the stadium match where they wrestled everywhere, but I gotta admit, I almost feel like the last match was worse, and I don't think I should ever say that. Anyway, Per Also King would like to know, Tristan, Dave, what's the craziest bumps you have ever taken? Well, me, none. But Tristan, what's the craziest bump you ever took?
So we were me and another guy, we were standing. I'm still trying to find out which Matt Rivera they wanted to talk about. But I was in a steel cage match with a guy, and the guy was new, and we're standing on the top ropes, not the turnbuckle, but the ropes, holding onto the cage, throwing punches on each other, and then I grabbed him for like a downward spiral and bumped with him like that.
I will say this much: the closest thing I could get is, and you don't really see it on camera, but I was interviewing. It was the night that Sonny Kiss would end up winning the title. I was interviewing Ken Dixon before the match, and he just, and he's a scary dude. Like, and everybody knows that. Like, Henderson is a scary guy. And before the interview, like, he just didn't, like, when they wanted him to interview, he wasn't into it or whatever. And he shoves me, and and you can't see it, but he threw me into a wall. Like, I legit hit, and it was like a brick stucco inside building. It was like jagged. It hurt. That's the closest thing I'll get. He just, and it was like effortless to him too. Like, it wasn't like a big deal. He was just kind of like shooing me, but I went flying and I hit the wall. So there's my answer. And you can watch and you don't realize that it's being done to me. You just think, oh, Dave stepped away for a second. Like, that's what it looks like. But it's like, no, I went into a wall. And as I said, the worst part is you can't see that it happened. It's just one of those things I know because no one else cared either. The camera just kept rolling while I'm on the back. But yeah, so that's probably it. I have that new Jackie signature on the channel. Ha! Very funny, Raina. But anyway, so yes, but I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Tristan, tell everyone where they can find you.
Oh, wait, we're not going to do a Shark Tank watch along? It's on CNBC right now.
No, but I will keep it in the memory bank.
Well, you can find me at The Real Big Tris on Instagram and Twitter. Hey, feel free to give me a following on the Twitter machine or the Instagram tram. But I also have a new podcast coming out. It's called The Tristan Law Show, where I interview personalities in and outside of the wrestling ring. Hey, go ahead and actually give me a follow there as well, too. That page is called Tristan Show, TRISTEN Show. That's why I look for that. And you know what? Just go on over to the website. If you can't remember all of this, go to TristanLawShow.com. 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 TristanLawShow.com for my podcast. Why not? Go ahead and hit subscribe. And hey, if you have Apple Podcasts, just go ahead and give me 5 stars and don't forget to rate and leave a review. There's a 10-minute episode already up, even though the podcast drops August 5th, 2020. TristanLawShow.com. TristanLawShow.com.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Tristan. Very much appreciated. But I have tomorrow's episode to finish editing, and we got other things to do. But thank you so much for being here, and as always,